There you go.
Hey.
Jojo.
Jojo.
Now we got a
I
full
made
house.
it. I'm still awake.
Woohoo.
Everyone, meet everyone.
You need to put Jojo in the middle.
Hello.
Yeah,
Inside. I'll tell you what.
that's it.
I'm still
There we
awake.
go.
It's happening.
Yeah.
You
How's
know
that?
what's funny about this, though? According to the Brady Bunch, that makes Nicole and Tommy mom and dad.
Joe is Alice.
Jojo's Alice.
I have
I
a
better not
confession.
Cindy.
I'm matching with I'm matching with Gerald the hair colour.
I have a confession. I've never seen the Brady Bunch.
Oh,
No.
Neither have I.
I
I'm with you, Andy.
I know who they are. I know what it's about, but
It's like the Partridge Family, Andy, except on steroids.
Yeah.
oh,
And then the intro is this, where they're all in the boxes and they sing the little song.
I've seen
Should we
that
do it?
bit.
Should
Yeah.
we do the song?
You start.
No.
Tommy,
Somebody did
Yeah,
ask
you-
like way earlier in the chat if we were doing a song.
dickhead. Don't
We did so
encourage
good with
anyone.
Christmas Carol.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
You know, we are 8 hours in. We might as well do a song.
Somebody who's not on their phone, cue it up so you can play the song.
But do you know what? The views have just gone up. It's
They
gone
want us
up
to do it,
like
man.
15.
Wow.
So,
That's because they heard we were
JoJo's
going to sing.
Yeah.
but we could do the Sesame Street, but that's only 4 people, isn't it? Like one of these kids is doing their own thing. You got to work out which one it is.
So,
Which one of us is not like the other?
I gotta confess to you, Andy, I've never seen Sesame Street.
What?
Oh my.
You are joking, right?
No memory of that show. I know who characters are from the show, but I have no memory of watching the show.
Big Bird,
Apple
Oscar,
Rock, I
All
know.
right, Joe got it.
Bert and Ernie, The Count.
I mean, I know the characters,
Cookie Monster.
but I don't remember ever sitting down and watching the show. Just like you with Brady Bunch. It's like I know who they are. I just never watched the show, I think. As
Ah,
far as I remember.
I probably saw every episode.
you cannot. I don't think we can be friends, Michael. I'm sorry. Oh my God.
I know Bert and Ernie were roommates.
Yeah.
Roommates.
Bert.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Oscar lives in a trash can.
Mhm.
Snuffleupagus.
Penny-
Snuffleupagus is a cryptid, okay? I don't care what anybody says.
Big Bird's best mate, Mr. Snuffleupagus.
Nobody
will
can
say-
see him. He disappears.
I will
Yeah.
say there is a part of the Muppets I have never seen that I've started seeing on TikTok. And it's when someone says the word phenomenon, also they start.
Do-do-do-do.
Oh,
Phenomena.
no, please don't do this to me. Not now.
I can't,
Hey,
I
I was
can't
in.
believe
Come on, Andy.
Phenomena.
Oh, Andy.
I cannot
But-
believe it's,
I will
it's
say
10 past
though,
4 in the morning here in the UK, and you sat here talking about Sesame Street. It's 10 past 4 in the morning. Let's have more serious conversation.
Yeah.
This is serious for 10 past 4.
Yeah, we've got to talk about Blue Peter and Jack and Ori and them, mate. And that's baffled all the Americans.
We'll keep it going. It's only 10 p.m. here. We'll keep you guys going.
yeah, it's 10 p.m. for me.
Yeah, we're still Thursday.
We haven't
Well, we're time
traveled yet.
travelers.
Yeah, we're in the future.
I've got to do the
Yeah.
school run in 3 hours.
But Andy was throwing me off earlier when he was like, "Oh, my birthday's tomorrow." I'm like, "Wait, today's Thursday."
I don't even know if it is. I don't know if it is my birthday or it's someone who Tommy knows.
Yeah, it could be.
Preston, are you all right to stay for a bit, or do you need to get going?
Well, at some point I'm going to need to get going, but I can stay for a little while.
Yeah, if you want to join in for a while, I'm more than, what's the word?
Apparently, we're
It'd be
going
my pleasure for you to
cartoons.
It'd be my pleasure for you to stay.
All right. I'm probably going to drop off in about 20 minutes or so because
Yeah, that's cool.
honestly, I do need to sleep.
Please don't.
Sorry.
Oh, you're all just
It's really
winding
rude
up
of
there.
me. I'm so sorry.
Sleep. That's overrated.
It's
No
okay.
sleep tonight.
You
No
can,
rest
Oh.
for Fury.
it's like you can sleep when you take your final rest, your final bow.
Sleep when you're dead.
That's right.
Sleep when you're dead.
We got to keep this root train
Yeah.
going. Let's go.
I don't know about you, Nicole, but I don't plan on doing a lot of sleeping while I'm dead. I got a list of people to visit.
Oh, yeah.
Just put some sunglasses on, take a little nap. We'll keep going. And
Yeah.
Yeah, do a whole weekend at Bernie's.
Mhm. Yeah, Andy, now's the
Yep.
time to nap. You have a full house here.
I
Yeah.
know. Thank God. But do you know what? This part of the sofa is the part where I normally fall asleep.
Oh,
So that it's like a big corner unit thing, and this is the comfiest part for sleeping. So
That's why I'm sitting all the way up here on mine, because this is where I get trapped.
I have
Trapped?
a cushiony chair
Trapped.
to sit in.
I remember getting so tired at school. I would learn how to yawn with my mouth closed.
do you know? I have a confession. I've learnt to do that on here,
Yep.
and I promise you, all of you, this is where you all give me dirty looks now, isn't it? It's not because any of you lot are boring, because you're definitely not. It's because
Sure,
I'm up at
sure.
6, 7 o'clock, and then I'm working, and then get home and do all that. No, do some of the house stuff. I was going to say all the house stuff. Yeah. And then I'm prepping for this and getting ready. And Joe, when everything just starts catching up with you.
Mhm.
So I kind of learnt to do it when I was in meetings at work as well. And I'm sat right at the front. I actually fell asleep in one meeting and started snoring.
oh no.
I was 19. It's like I didn't even want to be there. I didn't know.
You know what I think it is too? When you're so focused and you forget to breathe, that's when you're yawning.
Yeah.
Like when you're focused, you forget you need the oxygen.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that usually for me leads to a coughing fit because all of a sudden I'm like, too much
Well,
fast.
Mhm.
But yeah, when I eventually yawn, I'll tell you after I've done it.
It's a skill, man.
Yeah, it
It's a
is.
skill.
It is.
Yeah. If you see my eyes start watering really hard.
You, Andy.
Yeah.
Say again, Chris.
None of us are going to talk now. We're all going to sit here and watch you, waiting for you to yawn.
He just yawned.
We're all
No,
gonna take a lottery bets. Okay,
Yeah.
who's gonna yawn by this time? Who's gonna win?
Mhm.
Do you know? I'm surprised I haven't yawned yet. To be honest,
It's too much
The
coffee.
adrenaline will wear off.
Earlier?
I've had 4 or 5 coffee.
The whole time. Wow.
No,
I think you've yawned. I think you've yawned.
What Andy doesn't show us is he's got an IV attached to his arm over there full of coffee.
that's why it's there. Oh, so what have you all been up to then?
Who? All of us?
All of you, yeah,
We just
collectively.
been waiting to come on.
Go
We
around
just
the
been waiting.
circle.
Anything exciting? I see Chris has got changed, showing off.
Well, to be quite honest with you, I've taken my my thick woolly jumper type device that I had on because I'm not that far from the central heating, the radiator. and it was getting rather warm in the last session, so I thought I'll swap and put a t-shirt on. But for the last 2 hours, I've just been sorting out conference tickets, putting them in envelopes and so on.
Ooh, very nice. Right, I've got a request from Penny Van for Gerald. I'll get
Oh,
that.
no.
You ready?
The last time I did that, Penny had to go to the bathroom.
Right. Mate, you get him to give you a close up of his zombie eyes face.
We were joking around on our late night, the night out lounge, and I got real close to the screen and said, Penny. Oh, wrong guy. You can even roll them up a little bit if you want.
Oh, the white eyes.
Oh, that's
Penny.
Yeah, that's creepy.
Poor
So,
Penny.
just like this stream, we were going like 5 hours. We started at 11. We're in the early morning, and everybody's acting goofy, and it was a lot of
Yeah.
fun.
Cool.
Just don't turn your eyelids inside out. I hate it when people do that.
No. Oh, I
My
tried
cousin
doing
used
that
to do
once.
to me all the time. They roll their eyelids down, their eyelids up, and you just see nothing but the red,
Ugh.
like they didn't have
I
any
can do
eyes.
that.
My brother can do
JoJo's over there like, oh, proud.
If it gets too late, maybe we'll resort to that. I don't know.
Right. Sorry, 1 second. So Brian is asking. It's a couple of hours ago. I don't even know if he's still there. Put the pic up, Andy, please. But I don't know what
That was the
picture he
pic.
means.
That was the pick of Benchman. That was Benchman.
Oh, I did that.
Ah,
No, you
Where's my
missed it,
shot
and you
glass?
wanted to see it.
Sorry.
where's my shot glass? Got to do a shot every time you say bench guy.
Not tonight.
Shot of helium.
Yes.
Yep.
I got a pirate mug if that'll help you, Nicole.
There we go.
Ooh.
Yeah. I nearly said that was a real person. That wasn't even a person.
That's mad.
We have confirmation that that was not a person.
Yeah. There.
Wow.
And when I was talking to him, he didn't have a glowing red face.
Wow.
And we were in chat and we couldn't even see him. Andy was talking to himself.
That's mad.
Nothing near there.
Yeah, I was just saying that's normal, JoJo.
He'll be doing that later.
Yeah.
He has a guest on and there's nobody there.
Well,
is only
he'll
one
see
day.
guests, but nobody. We won't be able to see anybody.
Mhm.
I can only just see now. Oh, keep looking at the time and it's not moving quick enough. So,
Stop
offense,
looking
but it's
at
just
I'm
it.
looking at it.
Yeah.
We're
Turn,
not
unplug it.
entertaining enough for you, Andy.
Don't clock
Sorry?
watch.
But are we not entertaining enough?
Yes.
I know.
yes,
I'm kind of feeling insulted right now. He's like, I just
know.
come on, and he's all, time is
Yeah,
slowing
forget
down
it, man.
too
I'm
slow.
asleep.
It's
As long as
fine.
it's not going backwards, that's what's important.
Yeah. This will be the missing time, won't it, Preston? That's what
Yeah,
it'll
they're giving
be.
it back to you right now.
Yeah.
Hey,
Them 10 can't speak. Them 10 years that I asked for.
Hmm.
they can take you and put you right back at the same moment. So boom, gone. And then
Yeah.
put right back.
Yeah.
You have an hour, 2 hour long experience. But back here on Earth, no time has passed. So be right back. Boom, boom.
Yep.
There.
So any of you newcomers have any what you think might I've got the words, they're not coming out in the right order. Have any of you got what you feel could be missing time?
all the time.
But sleeping doesn't count, Michael.
Oh, I'm not talking about sleeping. I'm meaning when I was in college, I would be leaving my house, and the next thing I know, 45 minutes have passed, and I'm pulling up to the university. And I have no memory of driving between the house and the university. It's all missing. I'm just grateful that I got there with no car accidents, no bodies underneath the car. But yeah,
Oh.
there's a lot of times that I will drive. I start out, and next thing I know, I'm at the location, and I have no recollection of where the drive time disappeared to.
No, see, I've not had that I know of. It's felt like, Joe, when you daydreaming, it's like, oh, how did it get here? And then kind of work out what's gone on. So, yeah, it's just normal. There's no actual missing time. But I've never had it where I know for definite that it's either gone back or there's a big chunk of it missing.
Yeah, I even made a statement one night where I got to my destination and I said, all right, whoever is taking my body for a spin, please do not get me in an accident or kill anyone. You are free to do it as long as you obey those rules.
I'm guessing they did.
Yeah, I have had no problems.
It's one way to avoid traffic.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is pretty cool.
It's also a little worrisome too, because it's like you just like all of a sudden you open your eyes and you're like, how did I just travel 45 minutes in what feels like 2 minutes? And what happened?
Well, did you get there early then? Earlier than you would have normally?
Actually, sometimes I do, and I thank them for that.
Yeah, because people I've talked to who will, it takes an hour to get to work, and boom, 15 minutes later they're there. Like, well, this can't be. I'm, way early for work. Who does that? You don't get early to work.
Yeah.
No.
Like early to the party is one thing, but early to work, no.
No. Right. So Darren, our baby with a laser's got a question, and if we go clockwise, starting at Gerald, then go Gerald, Nicole, me, Preston, Jane, Michael, Tommy, Chris, then Joe. Is that all right? Do an inward spiral. So here is a question. If you could solve any paranormal mystery, what would you choose?
Let's see. I would have to say probably the Loch Ness Monster.
Ooh,
It's a good one.
Yeah.
That guy's been around long enough. We need to find out where he's living.
yeah.
Yes.
Very cool if it's a plesiosaur. Is that what they call them?
That
Yep.
would be cool.
Plesiosaurus, yeah.
Yeah. That would be amazing.
Yeah, because there are rumors that there's a tunnel from the ocean to the loch, and he just travels through the tunnels underground.
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard that. I've actually been up to Loch Ness and nothing.
It's disappointing.
I saw a report the other day where they're actually contemplating whether somebody saw a baby, a small one now.
Oh,
Interesting.
Well,
That would
make
be
sense.
trippy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's going to throw everybody for a loop.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Start seeing two instead of just the one big one now.
Yeah.
3
Yeah,
if
so-
you got the parents.
Oh yeah, there's got to be another one somewhere. Maybe that's from the other side of the lock.
yeah. Do you think it's got anything to do with Aleister Crowley? Or do you think that
I
they're
don't
not connected?
No.
These things are all around the world, aren't they, as well? They're not just seen at Loch Ness.
Yeah.
There's loads of places where these things could be that they're witnessed.
Yeah, because we have Charlie over here.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is it Canada where they have Ogopogo, something like
Yeah.
that?
Yeah,
Oh,
British
oh,
Columbia.
Champ and Lake
Yeah.
Champ.
Champ. Yeah.
Yeah.
Elsie and Lake Elsinore, Tahoe, Tessie, Lake Tahoe.
Yes, I've heard of that one.
Yeah, they're real, no doubt. I think the Loch Ness Monster is 100% real. So many people who have seen it.
Yeah, someone just put in the chat, and this is what I was going to say. What if Nessie is all of them, and it travels between the because obviously you have
wow.
rivers that run at the bottom of the oceans and the seas.
That very well could be.
Yeah.
That's an
Well,
interesting
it's
thought.
just like everything else. They talk about cryptids being dimensional. Why couldn't Nessie be dimensional?
Why not?
Yeah. Some people say it can walk on land as well. It comes out of the water.
Yeah.
Some people claim that.
Going to someone's birthday on a Friday.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That'd be amazing.
You know I'm going to keep doing this, don't you?
I deserve it, man. I deserve it.
Nicole, what mystery would you unravel?
I don't know if it's really a paranormal mystery, but Atlantis.
Ooh.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what
That's
happened.
paranormal because it's unexplained. That's paranormal.
I guess that has always fascinated me. That the whole ancient civilizations. So I want to know where Atlantis went.
Yes.
Yeah.
There is an area of southwestern Spain between Portugal and Gibraltar, which has been suggested may actually have been Atlantis. Rings within rings can be found in that area. It's an old swampland which is long dried up many centuries ago, and that has actually been suggested. But I've also heard it said that in the Atlas Mountains in Morocco, or at least in North Africa anyway, that there is what looks like a formation again of circles within circles, even though Atlantis was never described as being landlocked. It was suggested that could have been also known as Atlantis at the time. So there's two locations for you to think about, contrary to Santorini, the island, near Greece.
Yeah, the reshot structure in Africa looks like a very promising suggestion.
Mm-hmm.
And a thing too to think about, Chris, is also about that is the water levels were not where they were today.
Yep,
back
absolutely.
then. So
absolutely.
very well could have been an island in that area that's now dried up and became what we see.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's a fascinating tale, is Atlantis. It's one that I remember, I think it was in issue 102 of Outer Limits magazine, and that's quite a while ago now. And I'm fast approaching issue number 50, so that I'm hoping to do a bumper issue for that.
Cool. Right, mine would be Inner Earth.
Yeah.
I think.
It all comes
Find out what's really going on, if anything. Or is the Earth round or flat?
Round. I was going to say it. I'll go out on a ledge.
No, I had to put that one out there. Bit of controversy.
I think there's
There you
something
go.
to the Inner Earth stories. I'm not sure if it's hollow like a gumball, the hollow Earth, but
No,
there's
tunnels and caverns and
yeah.
caves. Yeah,
there's quite a bit of pretty compelling stories.
yeah,
About stuff going on underground.
yeah. Preston, what would be your mystery?
Well, I'd say UFOs, but I think we know what those are. Honestly, I think we've got enough evidence to say that at least some are ETs. But what I'd really like to know, because people keep talking about it, is who built the pyramids for real? ETs, or people.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
They did a good job, and we haven't been able to do it. So that would be so interesting to know if they actually levitated those blocks up, or did they drag them up?
How it was done.
Or, yeah. Would love to know that.
That's
Yeah.
a good one.
Because the Giza pyramid seriously has the longitude and latitude of the speed of light.
Oh,
Same number. Yeah. Someone told me that. I'm like, shut up. That can't possibly be true. But it is.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
And the alignments on that thing are amazing.
wow. Didn't know that.
And the fact that the pyramid is not 4-sided, it's actually 8-sided, they've now figured out, because there's a shadow cast at noon halfway down, and they're like, the only way they could do that is if there's an angle within the side. So each side has now actually been figured out to be 2 sides combined to look like one side. How
So
do
it's like,
you can't even
like
do that?
1 degree or something.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, I'm gonna have to go, guys. I've had a long
No,
day.
thank you for stopping on.
Nice to meet you, Preston.
Great
Take care.
Nice to meet you, Preston.
Nice to see you again,
You
Preston.
guys have fun. I
Bye,
will catch
Preston.
you in the morning.
See you later, bud. Take care. Right. Jane, what would be
I was-
yours?
I was going to say Inner Earth, Hollow Earth, but I'll go ahead and pick Old World, Tartaria structures, buildings, star forts, that era. I mean, what happened there? There's so many cities underneath cities. I mean, there's so many underground cities that we don't know of that,
Yeah.
you know, so, and just the old buildings that there's no way we built those in the 1800s when everybody was running around on horses and buggies. And I mean, those buildings are just, they're fascinating to me. So that's my mystery.
Yeah.
Good one too.
Cool. Michael?
I'm trying to think because everyone's pointed out such good ones, and I'm like, what's left?
You've got all the crappy ones at the end. There.
Yeah.
I know, it's like all the really
Wait
fun
till
ones.
he gets to Chris. He's got nothing.
Mhm.
Sesame
So-
Street.
All right, so I got one that isn't paranormal in nature, but like Nicole's is unexplained.
Yeah.
Antarctica.
Oh, that was mine.
And are there civilizations inside Antarctica
Probably got to find another one.
and UFO bases? And are they connected to the moon? It's like a tube.
Yeah.
Oh.
Admiral Byrd.
Stargates.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Cool. Thomas?
Well, that was my one.
You
Just thought of another one.
Now you
Well,
have
it's
to
no
change
my
your
Texas
idea.
accent. That definitely wasn't you.
There's so many. I believe that Bigfoot is out there, but I would love to, you know,
To know
No.
what it is.
yeah,
Yeah.
100% what it is. Flesh and blood. Is it supernatural? I think it's a mixture of both, to be honest. But I'd love to know the truth, because
Yeah.
Bigfoot is my guy.
And you know, it's interesting because I did a show earlier this month with James Zubecki, and he's the Columbia River Gorge area, manages a store there, and he actually has reports where the Department of Energy for the United States said we are building super animals to protect our area, so beware. If you
Oh,
see a large animal that doesn't look normal, do not engage. And they were like talking about making super crocodiles, super panthers.
Wow.
And so I was talking to him about it, and I was like, are these where cryptids were created? And he goes, very well could be, because they were splicing human and animal DNA
Yeah.
to make super guards for the territory, because it was a nuclear base and it was landlocked by not having fresh water, so dolphins couldn't protect it, so they had to create new creatures to protect.
Ah.
Interesting.
And they actually admitted it. I was like, oh my god, when does the government actually admit it that they're doing stuff they shouldn't be doing?
Well,
That makes you wonder about the sightings of the dogman in uniforms here in the U.S.
Yeah.
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 but then as well, you just said about doing stuff they shouldn't be doing. How long have they been doing stuff that they shouldn't be doing?
Well, this came public in World War II time frame, while they were trying to, before the bombs were dropped. So they were developing the uranium for the bombs at this site. So that's why they created them, was to keep Russia and during the Cold War, but the Nazis and the Axis powers from getting that technology.
But also as well, there were dogmen or werewolf type creatures that were seen on no man's land.
Oh yeah,
There's been a lot of reports coming from I think it was the German side.
Yeah, both sides. Well, so here's the interesting thing: the scientist that was did the cryptids in Columbia River Gorge was selected because he created a giant fish, a trout, that was like 3 times as big and was able to reproduce and grow twice as fast as normal. So it was like a good food supply. But then they brought in, when they hired him, they brought in all the scientists from Operation Paperclip to build the cryptids. And so, if you're not familiar with Operation Paperclip, that was the nasty Nazi scientists were brought in to the U.S. illegally.
Yeah. Thank you for that. And Christopher?
Well, I've got 2 or 3 things actually, which I would like to try and get an answer for. But they're all under the UFO umbrella, to be quite honest. Yeah. The first one is a sighting of a Florence, Italy, and I think you've heard me speak about this before, Andy. Back in October 1954, there was a football game, and by that I mean soccer for the American listeners. You know, there was a football game being played between Florentina, which is, I believe, the Florence team from Florence, and their local rivals, which I think were Pistori, something, I can't remember what they're called.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was a night game, and nothing untoward occurred during the first half of the game. The first 45 minutes passed away, and they had their half-time break. They came back out, started the second half, and what was variously described as a cigar-shaped object or an egg-shaped object flew over the stadium while the game was being played. It was so unusual that the game it just stopped. Everybody was completely distracted by what was going on. There was supposed to be angel air coming down from this device. Various football players, and one of them was an ex-Italian football player from the 1954 Soccer World Cup. 1952, I think, Soccer World Cup, who witnessed this. And he said it was something that we've never seen before. It was extraterrestrial. Also, there was a crowd watching the game live of 10,000 people in the crowd watching it. It must be one of the biggest witnessed events ever that has, taken place. And the folklore from this story spread and spread and spread. And eventually, a young man in London, England, by the name of David Jones, got to hear about this. He had a knowledge of this this event, and the fact that this this angel air was actually described by some as actually being spiders flying through the atmosphere above the game. And that young man, David Jones, later went on to become known globally as David Bowie. And David Bowie's band was called Spiders from Mars, which is where he got that idea from for the name for his band. So I'd like to find out the truth about all that. And the other one, but one of my others is my own sighting in 1974, which I've described before on the show, Andy. You know, the
Yes.
flickering light leapfrogging across the sky, completely disappearing on a cloudless evening. You know, and it was above me. It just disappeared, blinked out, and never followed the same pattern across the sky. And I have a third one, which again UFO related, is I'd like to get to the truth of the Calvan photograph. To be quite honest with you, and
The
for
what photograph, sorry? What photograph?
The Calvan photograph, the famous Nick Pope photograph that was alleged to be on the back of the door or the wall of his offices in the MOD buildings in London when he worked there.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be a fantastically massive, large, diamond-shaped UFO seen above the moorland over the hills of, I think it was Pitlochry in Scotland. It was a photograph that was said to be the most clearest, best ever photograph of a UFO ever taken, which mysteriously disappeared until about a year ago, maybe just a year and a half ago, when Dr. David Clarke from Sheffield University actually got a copy of that image, and it's now gone public. But we're still looking for the people who took the photograph. We don't know where they are. We have names, but we don't know where they are. So those are my kind of three things, you know. And I'm sorry, it's just UFO, but those kind of things all
That's
kind
fine.
of intrigue me.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, UFOs is your thing, isn't it? That's
yeah,
your...
it is basically.
So, yeah. Right, I'm going to bring the next guest on because he's sitting waiting patiently. He's probably actually calling me every name under the sun, but I can't hear him yet. So I'm going to bring George on. Hello, George.
Hello.
Hello, George.
Hi, George.
Hi,
It's
George.
an hour and a half earlier. I know. I was due at 5. I always allow for time stuff-ups. And so, as Joan and Andy knows, I always log in 2 hours earlier.
Well, at least I don't have to phone you this time and wake you and your wife up.
Yes, it's a lot better than 5 a.m. I'll give you that much. So, how much speed are you all on at the moment?
5 coffees. And I only drink the coffee pods. I can't drink coffee out of a jar. And I've only got 2 left. And I don't want to have them now because from 8 o'clock in 3 hours' time, there's only going to be me in the house. And we can only get them from like Tesco, which is our main supermarket. And obviously, I can't do that while I'm doing this. So I've got to make them 2 coffees last.
Sure you can. Road trip. Take the show.
You have to do it on your phone.
Take the show on a road trip.
Yeah.
You're all looking well. Nicole, we haven't met yet.
Hi,
No.
good to meet you.
You probably won't know that in a few minutes. But
Yeah.
Jojo, you're looking lovely as always. So are you, Gerald.
Thank you.
Jane, I haven't met yet. Michael,
Who?
yes, I know Michael. Tommy, of course I know Tommy. That face
Hey.
is all at every it's in every post office in Yorkshire. Side view, front view.
Wanted. Yeah.
And have you met Chris?
No, I haven't. But he's a
No,
friend of
we've
mine on
never met.
Facebook.
Nice to meet you, George.
Good.
No,
Good,
as I
good.
said, you haven't met me yet.
No. There's
I hope
time.
so, anyway. I know I'm an hour and a half early.
It's fine.
Oh,
And I was
that's
just
fine.
enjoying listening and commenting. And
Yeah,
I must be doing 5.
He's due in at 6. And it's,
No, 5. That's what
No,
worked out.
No, you're 11 hours in front. And we're 20 to 5.
Don't you love time zones?
No.
Oh, I do.
No. I know
Michael
what
and I
time
had
it
that
is.
problem trying to sort out what time it was.
I
Yes,
know
we
what
did.
time it is in California
Gerald.
before I know what time it is here.
Anyway, I'm here now. And I'm quite happy to stay on until whatever time you reckon it's going to be. Darling, put the kettle on. It's going to be a long one.
You want to talk about time zones? I'm a guest on a show that's like an hour and a half ahead of me. Where do they get the half hour?
Yeah, where
Yeah.
is it at? I've never heard of a half
Yeah,
hour.
where's that at?
It's some
Yeah.
Canadian thing. I think it's like Newfoundland.
Ah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
The half-hour time
Yes.
zone.
Yeah,
I think you've got 5 time zones in Canada.
yeah, man.
It is Canada. It's always a little different.
Mhm.
Well, Canadians are now the
Is that-
British or American.
I
Yeah.
always thought the half-hour time zone was the equivalent to your what you call mountain time.
no.
Hmm.
No, I know. I got told that. 'Cause I thought it was between Central and PST.
Pacific.
Yeah, and it's like, no, that don't even exist. I'm like, all right, forget it, ignore me, carry on.
You know, and I love that about the American time zones is we have Pacific time zone, which is off the Pacific,
Mhm.
Mountain
Yeah.
time zone, which is the Rockies, and then we got less creative and went Central, and then we decided the East.
Yeah.
I don't
The
know
thing
why
is,
we don't
though,
have the Atlantic time zone.
Right.
I still call Central Time Texas time because that's pretty much what there is.
Midwest time. Yeah.
Well, you know,
I
That's our
got
time zone.
Texas time. Sounds better.
We did the New Year's Eve stream, and we went celebrated every countdown from the East Coast all the way to Hawaii, and even the special little time zone counting Alaska and some of the little islands. We were it was like an 8 or 9 hour stream we were on.
Yeah, I'm not sure how long it was.
Wow.
We
You can
we
have
kept
that.
saying Happy New Year, and then an hour later, another Happy New Year.
It's like Tommy and his birthdays.
Yeah, happy birthday.
Happy
Happy
birthday.
birthday.
Poor Tommy.
I know. It's only
Yeah,
January.
Take us with us to
January,
all those birthdays.
He's
Just
going
take
out on the
us
lash
home.
every week.
Not a problem.
it was
Think
really
of my
Whose
think of my
birthday is it?
situation. I'm at 1 day ahead of all of you.
Right.
Yeah.
we actually were on a show and we had a friend that supports the network on it. We would always tease her going, so since you're the resident time traveler, what can you tell us about the future? She'd look at us and go, what do you mean? We go, you're a day ahead of us. You've traveled to the future for us. What's happening tomorrow that we can prepare for today?
I couldn't find the Powerball numbers, so I can't help you.
The thing is, Michael and George are 17 hours between them.
I know.
Mhm.
That
Long
Crazy.
time.
that messes with my head. Just looking at the screen now and seeing
Mhm.
everyone
It's mad, isn't it?
all different places. It's like it's me, Tommy, Joe, and Chris. Like normal. I'm going to say normal time.
Yeah, I was like, wait a
And
minute.
then you lot are just.
Normal.
It's like you get some tokens, just throw them up in the air wherever they land. That's your time. That's your time. That's your time.
You know what I
What
can't get my head
What I
Just
around?
could
think
never
of,
understand
When
about
you're
time, Andy, is we're on Greenwich Mean Time, which is the meridian. All right, that's where it's supposed to be in the meridian.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the zero.
The day though changes in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. It goes, you can be in Hawaii and it's Tuesday. You go a couple of 100 miles the other direction, back to Japan, and then you're back in the previous day again. Do you know what I mean? It's weird. It's
But you're not
weird.
allowed to travel that way.
No, that's right.
You'll
But then
be able to
again,
go this way.
remember, time doesn't exist. It's a man-made concept.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's designed for navigation.
No, it's designed to baffle us all, mate. That's what it's designed for.
No, it's
Yeah.
designed to help us navigate around the world and we get hopelessly lost at sea.
Absolutely.
Go on, Nicole.
That's what I was gonna say. I was like,
Oh.
I can't get my mind around the fact that you can leave
Thank you,
one
darling.
place and then be in the past when you get there.
Yeah.
Like when you're
Yeah.
flying.
But
Yeah.
why are you not allowed to go that way around?
You can go that way.
No.
We fly that way from Australia to the US and everywhere all the time.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
can fly.
You
I
can fly back in time.
west to
I think you
Australia.
need some sleep.
Get that coffee in you, Andy.
They don't allow
Anyway.
Andy to
Andy,
fly
I
west.
know.
Anyway, that
Andy, mate,
half-hour time zone you got in Texas, what's all that about?
Andy, I know you're getting tired, but remember when you look at a map, just because there's an edge to the map doesn't mean there's an edge to the world. You can fly that way.
Unless you're a flat earther.
Andy's
Yeah.
That's not an edge.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where's the four corners at?
That's an interesting concept. The four
Yeah, I
corners.
know.
Yeah.
I like the evidence that somebody put in the chat room that said the Earth is not flat, because if it was, cats would have pushed us all off the edge.
Yeah. That's true. That is true.
Yeah.
Well, I vote for the Washington, D.C. be right on the edge where the cats can push them off.
Amen to
Yes,
that.
man.
Uh-huh.
You've got to keep them somewhere to stay out of a road. After all, it's one of the world's biggest old people's homes.
Yeah. Sorry, I've just got to keep checking stuff on the phone.
You know, we were talking about time, and we were doing that New Year's Eve thing, and we were checking them all out across the whole map. And if you're in Russia and you travel 2 miles towards the U.S., there's a Canadian some islands there, and you lose 24 hours. You go 2 miles and you lose 24 hours.
Wow.
The date line is
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Mhm. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Time is
Evolution's-
weird.
So here's a fun
Yeah.
fact, though, about the date line. If you were on a ship and you literally could stand in 2 different days at the same time, straddling that line.
But rumor has it, if you do it long enough, you turn into a dog man or a Bigfoot. That's a
Is that
true
what happened to
story.
you, Andy?
Only if there's a full
like
moon out.
But
So is that why you
Maybe-
can't fly west, Andy? Because you stood too long and became a dog man?
yeah, oh, you've read my book, haven't you?
What happens if you fly south and north, Andy? Not east and west. Let's go north and south. What happens to you then?
Don't know. You implode.
How did you fly when you came to the U.S.? Did you go all the way around?
He used the portal.
No, I got on the plane at Gatwick and got off at JFK, and
So that's this way.
I just got on the plane and got off the plane.
He took the Underground Railway.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
Because
Mr.
flight
Time. He doesn't know how he got
Denver
here.
All
Airport.
He
trains and
went by
tunnels.
train, and then he got on a boat, and then there was something about an airship or something, and
Horseback.
Up and dropped off. That's all he does.
Then I found a giant cat trying to push people off the edge. Everything.
you're already writing a book. That's your next book right there.
And then I lost that. Then I lost half an hour when I nipped to Canada. So yeah. And I got a book that I still haven't read. And that is true. Ain't it, Chris?
What about horseback?
Horseback?
The
Yeah,
horse
did you
was on
go?
the plane.
Did you go riding a horse too?
No.
No.
Might as well go back in
No.
time while
Come
you're
to
telling the
Texas.
story.
Say again,
Horse and
sorry?
buggy and- Said you might as well travel back in time on your story.
Oh, I've been everywhere else, haven't I? Yeah. But yeah. I don't know. I don't know what happened. But the thing is, anyway, what George doesn't exist because the what's it called? Australia doesn't exist, does it?
What?
And not all people in Australia are actors.
Oh, I've heard.
Conspiracy theory.
Oh, okay. I was like, where are we going with this?
That's why I can never get past the airport.
Truman Show.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they won't let me out.
loads of people believe it that Australia doesn't exist and it's all actors. I think they've been watching too much Neighbours and Home and Away, to be honest.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
It's got to be.
Come on
Better
now.
watching Naked and Afraid.
Anything's better than watching Naked and Afraid. What's one thing I can never work out with Americans? This weird prudery. But, you know, every woman on earth that's mature apparently has at least one or two breasts. Most people have genitalia, as provided originally. Oh, but oh no, we must fuzz them out. We must fuzz out everything. I think, what, do they scare babies? I've never seen a baby scared by a breast yet. It usually tries to latch on.
I like the
Very
at least
weird.
one or two.
Yeah.
I know. I'm like,
One or
wait a
two.
minute.
It's interesting, just bringing up Bigfoot for a moment. And I've said this to a few people who've interviewed me over the years. And I said, this North American naivete, not counting Canada. Canada's a planet of its own. And that is one of the most common reports I get in my thousands and thousands of Bigfoot reports. And I have written more on Bigfoot than anyone else on Earth. I don't care what they say. And the most common sighting is Randy and Andy. They've been out driving for the night. They end up in the woods and they might have had a few beers. They might not have, but they had to stop and, as the Americans say, relieve themselves. And of course, in England and Australia, it's a totally different meaning. But if they're good friends, that's up to them. But next second, somebody 8 foot tall, hairy, with red eyes, is exceptionally pissed off and starts throwing things and yelling and attempting to get rid of them and annoy them mercilessly. Unfortunately, what pisses off a lot of Bigfoot people with me is that it's Anthropology 101. You know, it's standard ape behavior. When you piss on their territory, relieve yourself on their territory, they get very upset. You try doing it at the zoo. And I said, we've never noticed that. And I said, you've interviewed millions of people. You've got no idea. No, well, we don't it's the most obvious bloody thing in all the Bigfoot literature, apart from the second part, which is this. Randy, and not Andy, Randy and Cheryl are in a car in the deep woods, obviously studying for their SATs. The next second, there's a big hairy hominid staring through the window. They also seem to be attracted by the smell of it. And my God, that's Anthropology 101 again. A big, hairy relative. But a lot of people don't like me for that. They want it to be a Wendigo. And a lot of them might be. But the weirdest ones, when you get down to it, are the UFOs from October 5 times in 1954 in France, during the great airship flap that was mentioned by Chris. He did the Florence sighting, which was late October, early November 1954, out of hundreds of sightings. And there are funny little sightings of UFOs coming down, hatch, latch or whatever, ramp comes down, and who comes out? No, it's not a Bigfoot. It's only 4.5 foot tall, with big eyes and covered in hair. It's a little foot. But the funny thing is, by 1968, Uniontown, Pennsylvania and other places, 7 years before Star Wars, same thing happened. UFO arrives, ramp comes down, and 7.5 foot big hairy creature comes wandering out. Is it a pet going out for a walk? Is it the pilot coming out to relieve themselves? I don't know. Obvious things. I hunt for the obvious. I don't hunt for the obscure. Because unlike most researchers, I don't think of a theme and then try and validate it. I look at data and see what comes out of the data, because it's the data that's speaking to us. And that's how we work with all of us. Data is the key, or data as a lot of the pommies call it. Oh, to the American audience, Pommy is a prisoner of Mother England. It was brought up in the early colonial days when the human jetsam and flotsam of Mother England were thrown here. That's just a little thing I thought I'd mention.
What
This
kind of
strange
eyesight does
prudery
Bigfoot
with
have? Can
Dartmouth
they see
report.
through steamed up windows?
Yes, it wasn't you looking through the steamed up windows. I mean, if I was busy studying for my SITs and you suddenly looked through the window, I could suddenly think, oh dear, it's a Bigfoot. I was about to say another word starting with
You,
bullshit
I
in
know.
China.
I really had to kick
Well
you out
saved.
then,
Well
George.
saved.
Yes, but this is a family program. And I didn't want to upset anyone. We're all adults. We're all big people. Even if we've got no idea how to be one. I've never been one before.
Sorry, I'm
Well,
just checking through the chat as well.
I sent
I'd
you a
like to-
couple videos, Andy. If you have time tonight, we can go through those and see what the panel thinks of them.
I have.
I don't know if you can bring them up or not. I sent them in Messenger to you.
I've got them, but at the moment I'm using the iPad,
Ah,
so I can't do it just yet. That's why I couldn't reply because I'm having to use my phone.
okay.
But in 3 hours' time, I'll be going back upstairs on the desktop. I can do it then. If you want me to put them on after, is that okay?
That's fine. I don't care. I just thought if you could bring them up while I was here, I'd tell you all about them or what was going on while it was happening.
Right. Sorry.
You
That's
got to
all
get
Because
back
I'm on the
in
iPad. I
hours and
can't.
come explain them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Huh?
have to stay on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's
we're
only
going
11
nowhere.
o'clock here. Usually we're up till 3 or 4 in the morning.
I actually
I'm,
have to get going because I am going to have a very late night tomorrow night at my investigation. So I got to go plug all my stuff in.
I've got the school run in 2 hours, so I'm not getting a lot of sleep
my.
tonight.
And another
Right.
break.
Yeah,
I shouldn't have arrived so early.
Well, George,
No,
we'll just wait for all of them to pop out, George, and me and you will run the show.
Wouldn't be the first time. Andy needs to go to the chemist and get some no-dos.
I need to go to the bathroom again.
you need a bucket.
Coffee
Don't
doesn't.
take the phone
Yeah.
with you.
Yeah,
Well, luckily, the downstairs toilet is just the other side of this wall, so it's not too bad.
Well, I hope you got a door.
No taking the
You know,
phone
just
with
up the
you.
wall. Marking my territory is what I'm doing.
Hey, watch out, the Bigfoot doesn't go after you.
I'm going to stay
Please
just to
mark
see that.
your own territory first.
Yeah. I'm all right for a few minutes.
I hope so. You're a big boy now.
Yes, yes. Right.
I'm going to have to
So,
shoot, guys.
who's going? Tommy and
I'm
Nicole.
going.
I've
See
got to
you,
go.
Tommy.
Right.
See you later,
Nice
guys.
to
Tommy.
meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Bye,
Bye.
guys.
Good luck.
Bye.
Tommy, you're
Yes,
here
sir.
a week on Friday, aren't you? A week
Yes.
today.
Yeah, man, no birthday parties that I know
Happy
of.
birthday.
Happy
You're here
birthday.
on Wednesday. Perfect. Right. Thank you
See
for
you later,
coming
guys.
on.
Have a good one.
If I
Cheers.
wake up early enough, I'll get on in the morning. But I wouldn't count
Awesome.
on that. But I'll try.
Yeah.
Take care,
It's all
guys.
good.
See you later, guys.
Right. Take
Bye.
care.
Have a
See you
good
soon.
one.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
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 And then there was
And now
7.
there were 5. Yeah, 7.
Yeah. That's right. I only said 4.
10 little Indians.
I'm not
There
being
were there
dopey.
7.
Sorry, I draw my line. I'm not being dopey. 7
You're
doors.
Say
Never are.
nothing, Joe. Nothing.
You never are.
Yeah, that brings back memories hearing that little Indians comment.
Are you allowed to say it?
10 little Indians picking up sticks.
Yep.
I vaguely remember that.
I remember lots of things, but they're all banned now.
Yeah, we'll leave that there.
Yeah. The joy of being nearly 70.
Ah,
Right. So, has anyone got any we know Chris has, but anyone got any projects coming up that they can talk about?
Well, it's not a project, but I have Paranormal Versus will be premiering season 2 next month. Kel and Matt have gotten to feeling better, so we are ready to launch.
Cool. Yeah, Matt was in the chat earlier. Yeah, because I know he's not been very well, has he?
No, it was unfortunate because we had a really cool lineup set up to launch. And unfortunately, Andy was too busy to launch this season.
He was?
You launched our first. You were our first guest on season 1.
You were, yeah.
Was there?
Yes, you were.
Yeah.
Everything at the moment, everything's a blur. I'm sorry.
No, so yeah, I was like, that's why I was teasing you, going, yeah, that's why season 2 couldn't launch, is Andy wasn't available.
Right, got you. Gerald, Jane, have you got anything coming up?
Well, it's going to be in the spring for. I mean, we have our shows every week, obviously, with the guests, But in the spring, we have this new 360 camera that we're going to take out and go to some trails and some spots that maybe people aren't familiar with in our area. So the viewers at home should be able to take their tablets or their phones or whatever and turn it and be able to see all 360 all the way around us in case we miss something or don't see it while we're going. They'll be able to see it live.
Excellent. Cool.
We just need to get through winter.
Yes.
It comes and goes.
Yeah.
Well, do anyone fancy a bit of a storm? Got really bad rain and very windy outside. I chose my words carefully then.
Not here.
Not here either.
Here, I think it's what? How warm is it today at the moment, darling?
It's showing off now.
It's 40.
Is George ahead of us? Is it Saturday for George?
Yeah, it's 40 degrees at the moment here. But it's a cool change. That's 40
you're in the future.
Celsius, not Fahrenheit.
He's
it's his summer. It's our winter.
It's the middle of summer.
4 p.m. for George.
Yeah. And it's about 4:30 a.m. there for you. 4 a.m. there for you.
Yeah. So he's 11 hours in front.
I finally had my revenge on that 5 a.m. phone call.
Been waiting 2 years for that.
Yeah, and it's 40 degrees outside, which is God knows what in Fahrenheit. 105.
Well, Illinois, we just went through a cold snap. We had 11 inches of snow, and now today it's 40 degrees.
It's melting fast.
Fahrenheit, not Celsius.
So you guys are lucky. We had the snow, then it became rain, and then it warmed up to like just over freezing to start another week of rain.
Oh my!
Nice.
Yeah.
That's why I prefer it here.
Yeah.
Mind you, Madam hates it over 30 degrees. So.
Well, we're still not sure Australia exists. I've never been there, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I'm running the show.
It's just George in his library.
I always seen had trouble getting to the airport, but oh well.
I like
there is no airport in Australia.
Oh,
there is. You've got.
It is.
Is it Erinsborough International?
What?
Erinsborough International Airport.
No, not down south.
Airport up.
Isn't that what Neighbours Erinsborough? Somewhere?
Oh, Erinsburg. I don't know. I watched half of some of Neighbours in a cafe years ago and thought, what is this crap? You pommies love it.
Yeah.
And bloody Home and Away, for God's sake. This week's episode of Home and Away. While the dengue fever epidemic is lasting throughout the peninsula, the caravan park is beset by a tribe of hooties. At the same time, the cyclone is getting closer. Will they survive the attack by the strange and mysterious monster that has appeared out of the sea? Stay tuned for the next exciting episode of Da Dee 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 Dee.
Sounds
that's
like
every
an episode
afternoon.
of Doctor Who.
No, that's just Home and Away, which is still very popular in England.
Yeah, it's
Is
on
it?
Channel 5, I believe.
Yeah. You can have it back if you want.
Yeah, we'll definitely send it
paying you
back.
back for everyone you sent here. All the £10 poms that came here. We paid £10 to come here, and this is all we get. Well, the Australian way of looking at it is, well, F off.
Fair
For
enough.
£10, you got a lot of good value. Free trip to Australia.
Yeah, if you made
Right.
it alive.
Yeah, a lot of people never made it, and a lot of people didn't ask for it. It's always been a free trip to Australia.
Yeah. Chris, you any projects coming up?
Yeah, I've got several coming up, mate, as you know.
Yes.
Next issue of the magazine's due out from tomorrow. 95 pages of various reports. Got a nice report of a 7-foot-tall alien allegedly attempting to abduct a young Peruvian girl in the Andes Mountains. We've got the case that El Grey mentioned earlier. This fireball orb UFO, whatever you want to call it, following this 11-year-old lad home. So I've been concentrating on getting that finished. I've been organising conference speakers, and for our next conference, which is September 14th, as you know, Andy, I've just confirmed Peter Robbins will be coming over to the UK to speak. We've got several British speakers who probably won't mean anything to the guests, maybe Jojo and yourself, but you know, I'll be doing a little bit of a talk. Jason Gleaves will be doing a talk. Paul Askoff, who you've got on here in about 3 or so hours, he'll be coming on to talk. Who else have we got? I can't remember. I'm getting to that stage.
Randall?
Graham Randall's he's coming to speak.
Randall.
He's coming along. And who else is there? I can't remember. I've got 6 who I've publicly announced at the moment. And I'm trying to work on one particular individual who actually gave a big clue away last weekend, actually, live on radio. And that's all I'll say. That might give you a clue as to who he is. I'm just waiting for him to confirm that he can attend. But I do know he wants to come along because he's never met Peter Robbins and they've been communicating with each other for about 20 years. So that hopefully will come to fruition. And
none the
again,
wiser.
it's just I'm working on my second book at the moment, which is about unidentified submerged objects. But by that title, I'm not just referring to UFO stroke flying under the water. I'm talking about lost cities, different events, you know, that have been experienced in the Atlantic, in Asian waters, you know, in the Pacific, even little things, even things that have been experienced in lakes like Lake Baikal and things like that, and alleged underwater bases, like for example Puffin Island near Wales, off Catalina Islands in the Channel Islands in America, you know, with this alleged base there. So I'm trying to put all this kind of information together. So those are the kind of things that I'm working on at the moment.
Cool. Excellent. Joe?
She's typing.
Yes. Any projects coming
I'm
up?
trying to chat that as well. I haven't got nothing going on. Just
checking. You never know.
Joe and Jane. I'm just a mod.
Could be a bit of a dark horse, having all these side things going on.
Hey, somebody got a mod. Elaine got kicked out of chat, so I helped her get back in. The dogs keep laying against the plug and knocking my whole computer off.
I'm glad it's all gone into plan.
Can I say one thing? I just want to say a big thank you to all those UKers out there in chat that have been with us this whole night, and they're still there.
I know.
So thank you all, guys.
Brilliant.
Yes, thank you. So
I
how
think we
did
got
Elaine?
I think we got 13 from our channel coming over. Well, 14 now.
Hey,
Yeah,
Lala.
that's quite a
Yeah.
few.
Excellent.
Well, come over.
Hey, Lala's back.
Al's back.
It's 11:11 here in our time.
Yeah,
Wow.
5
Oh,
I,
11:12.
I must be time
My
traveling
son will
because
be
I have
getting up for work in a
11:12.
minute.
I'm a minute ahead.
Do you know what? 9 hours in, and I've not had a break. I've been to the bathroom twice and to get a drink and that, but I've not actually done a break.
You've done very, very well.
Yep,
And
you're doing good, Andy.
You'll get the elephant star.
Yeah, but he's not telling everybody. He's got a cup that he's been using.
No, not that bad.
You almost look like you're wide awake.
Yeah.
In body, but not in spirit.
He looks better now than he did when he started.
You'll eventually get to the stage, such as a good friend of mine. He can do a 48 to 72 hour session.
What?
Oh wow.
What?
Yep. I won't give you his name on air because that would take away everything from here. But it's taken him years to get to that stage where he can do that with guests from everywhere, 48 to 72 hours.
Yeah. Yeah. But I know Gerald, and Jane, you do long streams as well, don't you?
Yeah, we've been known as our Night Owl Lounge is late night
Yes,
on Wednesdays.
I couldn't
And
remember
we've
the name
been
of it.
known to do 5 to 6 hours because we'll have people from the US, time in, and they go out, and pretty soon people in the UK start waking up and they're with us in the morning. And I mean, just when we're getting ready to think, okay, everybody's leaving, a new crowd pops in.
Another wave.
Right.
We just keep on going.
Yeah. I'm actually surprised that I know the numbers did drop for about 20 minutes, but then they shot straight back up. And to be honest, I wasn't expecting that, so thank you. And it's just been a constant level all the way through, other than that little bit.
Excellent.
So
we noticed
everyone,
that on our long streams too, that it almost looks like the same number hovers all the time. Then when you go back to look at it, you see people drop off and the new ones come in, and they drop off and they come in. So it stays constant all night long.
yeah. So it's good. I'm sound bad. I'm going to say I'm actually enjoying this. It's what I mean is I'm not as tired as what I thought I was going to get at this point.
No, but you will be.
You've done really well, Bob.
Yeah. When I go to
He's
bed
done well.
tonight, I don't have to get up till about. So like, about 10:30. I've got an haircut at 11 o'clock. Might have to cancel it.
Till you're 4 hours into sleep, and all of a sudden you wake wide up. Like,
Yeah. And I won't know who I am, where I am, or anything.
No, mate,
I'm
you'll
late for
get them
school.
zombie eyes. You'll get them zombie eyes, mate. That's what'll happen.
I
Yeah,
think
your
we're
sugar
starting
levels
now.
will have crashed. Your sugar levels will have crashed completely. Keep the sugar up and keep the carbohydrates up to bond with it.
Yeah, I've got.
Otherwise, you just burn yourself out.
I've got crisps and biscuits down there, so
maybe you'll astral travel tonight.
Oh.
yeah.
Yeah, have you figured that one out yet, Andy?
Yeah, getting there. I've done it twice.
Yeah,
that
so
I know
far
of.
this program.
Cool.
Yeah.
So, but I know I'm somewhere different because I feel it when I'm getting pulled back. It's not just something I remember. I actually feel it happening at the time.
So how far have you gone?
I don't know where I was, but I know I was talking to people, and then it's like a big elastic cord that pulls you back. And that was on what day are we on? Who am I?
Well, you're still on Thursday, mate. Everybody else is on Friday now.
I thought it was Wednesday. Monday night, Tuesday morning. So, but like I said earlier,
Uh-oh.
okay.
Oops. What was
Somebody
that?
shut
That's
me
fine.
down or something.
Oops.
That's the Alexa. No, it's round the other side of the room.
Don't whisper to her. She hears you.
I
Shh,
know.
shh.
She
The
hears
first time-
all and knows all.
The
Well,
first
I,
time our car
um,
spoke to us, we freaked out completely. We're driving along in a suburb we didn't know. We were talking about a medical centre, and next second the car said, "I don't know of a medical centre around here." We'd never heard the car speak before. Then it offered us a service station to go to, and we're just sitting there going, "Shh, shh, don't say a thing. She want to talk to you." So we
Yeah.
hadn't quite worked out who was doing the talking. Bloody sat navs.
Strange.
They were used to it. It starts talking and we just shut up. "I don't understand you." "Shut up." "I don't understand what you want." It's like being married.
You need to start asking it questions about Skynet and stuff like that and see what kind of answers you get.
No, I couldn't be
Yeah.
bothered.
Yeah, you might be getting the wrong answers then. You might have helicopters start following you.
They do. Except they can't make it to Australia.
That's because it don't exist.
They never figured out how to fly west yet.
Yeah,
Yeah. And you,
yeah,
you
they don't
can't
fly
turn
there.
right when you get there.
No.
You can only go left.
You go out to the outback and you're never seen again. Quite often that happens.
Right, I've got some questions for you.
Such as, are you all sane?
How did you know?
Yeah, I was reading the feed.
Right, so it's same question, but it's two questions, but from the same person, so I'm going to put them both up. So it's from Ogety, Elaine. She wants to know, here's a question. Do you think that the weather is affected by UFO activity, or is it vice versa?
I know they like
Well,
to hide behind
allegedly the Roswell incident occurred because it was hit by lightning. So I would say it was vice versa.
Yeah, but I don't think that's a general answer. That's more a specific answer for one of the 7 apparent crashes at Roswell within 1 month.
Mm-hmm.
That's the interesting thing when you record data, you find all the most amazing other things that go on with it. But generally, I don't think a thing that's coming through from another dimension, because I regard the concept of time and space travel as absurd, would be that much affected, unless it assumes its physical form, as Chris said, once it's here. I mean, I've got reports of UFOs thundering out of the heavens, and there was one in Massachusetts, 1966, I think, but crashed through the back of a billboard and then took off again. And I liken it to, and I discussed it with Earl Grey a while ago, and that was, I said, I think that somebody's kids who stole mum and dad's UFO, they weren't quite used to going in between dimensions, and next second it's holy mother of God, we're about to crash into something, which they do. Because we've got to remember, all civilizations are like us. They have kids, they have problems, they got parents, they got home life.
Yeah.
What makes them suddenly superior and wonderful? You know, they're moody, they can attack you, they can bless you, they can heal you.
Yeah.
They can invite you along. They can perform home surgery on you. Lots of different things. You've got a multitude of beings in a multiverse, all traveling through it. And there are a hell of a lot of them. You know, we can't have everyone on Earth having the same hallucination.
No.
Mind you, schizophrenia has been found to be induced by electromagnetic waves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Hmm.
You know, reality and electromagnetism.
Yeah. But
That's just, I thought I'd throw 2 shillings into there.
that's fine.
Yeah, I can't answer that because it depends. Are there weather wars taking effect, or is it the natural weather? Because if it's weather wars, then it's somebody's causing the weather, so could affect the UFOs entering.
Could be. But
But I'll
did
play
you-
devil's advocate and say, are there weather wars? Or have we been led to believe that there are weather wars?
Yeah,
Always remember, everything can be camouflaged.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But slightly off topic, but still on the same trail. Did you know that NASA own the patent to creating another sun?
Yep.
And they have the ability to do it. And considering NASA can't even get another rocket to the moon because they can't remember how to do it, but they can create another life-saving power source.
I'm sure
That
they'll
keeps
find a
us all
Commodore
alive.
64 somewhere. Because that's
Then
how they
it can't
powered
go
it
on.
last time. The Commodore 64.
Yeah, so they own the patent, and apparently they've got the ability to do it.
NASA has a whole lot more tech than they say they do.
Oh, of course they do. All right, Joe. You having a fight with
Spider
the
in
pot,
the room.
guys?
The cat just jumped on me. I'm like, shit myself.
I mean, what could possibly go wrong with our government agencies creating another sun? I mean, they had such good luck with CERN and all the other projects they've been doing.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Tatooine. It works for them.
For who, sorry?
Tatooine, Star Wars.
Oh.
Michael, I hate to tell you this. Actually, Tatooine exists in Algeria. It's where it was filmed, that part.
It was.
There you go.
In Algeria, and I believe Return of the Jedi was filmed in Mexico.
Yeah, there's an English company that wants to do a remake of Return of the Jedi. They're going to call it the Return of the Cheddar.
Why does it always come back to cheese?
Yes, it
Everything
always
comes
does.
back to cheese.
Yes, it always does.
It's because the government's got a lot of surplus of it.
Yeah.
Right.
Government cheese, come on.
Right, I'm going to go for a quick break, but I'm going to put a question up for you guys. I'm only going to be 2 minutes.
All right.
So this is from Baby with a Laser, and he's asking, question to you all. I know you all might be sick of telling or think everyone has heard them, but for those that haven't, what made you all believers? And do it in any order. I'll be back in 2 minutes.
And then we never saw him again.
Yeah,
We might let him come back.
The government got him. They finally snapped him. And then there
Joe,
was
get rid of
six.
him. Jojo, get rid of him.
Jojo, you have
Get him
control.
off quick.
Yeah,
You are
get rid of
boss
him.
now.
I shall do this show.
I would have to
Sorry
say
about
that growing up, I believed in Bigfoot. I got Bigfoot books, in the Scholastic Reader in grade school, and then watching all the sci-fi movies now as an adult puts me right in the right time frame to see stuff moving in the sky and people's experiences and Bigfoot and Dogman. It just seems like it's been a whole journey for me.
Do you want me to go next?
Yep.
Okay.
Sorry.
What made me a believer was my 2 sightings. One that he had in 1974, in the city of Kingston upon Hull here in East Yorkshire. Flashing light moving across the sky, but it kind of leapfrogged backwards and forward across itself. Early evening, about 4 p.m. It was already dark. It was February, and it leaped from position 1 to position 3, back to position 2, forward to position 4, and it kind of leapfrogged across the sky like that till it got more or less above where I was. I jumped up and shouted to my friends, "Look, guys, there's a UFO in the sky," only because I'd watched Jerry Anderson's UFO TV show, and it just blinked out, completely disappeared. No clouds in the sky. We've been very lucky with the weather, and that intrigued me. So I started reading books by various authors about the Warminster thing, in Great Britain, books by Major Donald Kehoe from the US, and so on and so forth. And then my second sighting was back in the mid-1990s when I run the Hull UFO Society, and a ball of light came down the southern bank of the River Humber, split into two and went in two separate directions. And that was it. That's what's made me a believer, what I've actually seen with my own eyes. Who's next?
Jojo?
I
Jojo?
haven't had no experience with cryptids or UFOs. Mine's all been spiritual. But when my dad come and sat on my bed in the night, he died during the day, and he come and sat on my bed that night. That's when I believed in all the spiritual things, and a lot's happened since then with that. But I believe, because I believe you good people that have had experiences. So, sorry, no cryptids, no UFOs.
Has everyone answered?
No.
Jane
No.
hasn't.
That's me,
Michael
Tom.
hasn't.
I guess I follow JoJo's great story. I don't know how I can top that. For me, what made me a believer was pretty much I was born into it. And when I was 2, I had an experience that I vaguely remembered but learned more about later. And I've seen UFOs. I think I've even seen a UFO battle in space, and I haven't come across cryptids yet, but I'm not saying I won't come across them. But yeah, I pretty much have always been in the paranormal.
Yeah. Jay?
Well, I pretty much grew up with my mom believing in UFOs, Bigfoot, Loch Ness, all that, and just always been fascinated in it. When I got older, I started seeing lights in the sky, and especially since, Gerald and I got married 20 years ago, it's been maybe the last 6, 7 years that we're really starting to see the lights in the sky, and we got night vision. We're going all over the place, aren't we?
Yeah.
Got night vision binoculars. And now we see orbs, and we've had Sasquatch experience. Never seen one, but we've sensed they're around. I've heard the whoops and the whistles and strange noises, and just feel their presence. And so I guess it's not really a believing. It's what we've experienced. It's a knowing now that we know that they're out there. We just know they do exist. I just don't know exactly what everything is.
Yeah. Yeah, even though I've had quite a few encounters, I've kind of just always known that it's a thing, that it's there. I think, same like what Joe said, even though she's not really had anything happen, it's real. And I think that's what I'd be like. If no encounters, I'd still, it's there. It's just being in the right place at the right time for you to have that experience.
Right.
But it just, I pretty much always said, it's not paranormal, it's normal. It's more normal than what people actually realise. It's probably more normal than normal.
I'll throw in my 2 bobs worth now.
Yeah.
Okay, Joe, the phenomenon, I've had a radio program years ago. I was a guest on and the subject was relatives and beloveds who appear within 48 hours of decease. It's very, very common.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. Enjoy it and cherish for memory. It happens to a lot of people, but most people, unfortunately, don't like talking about it. Like, they don't like talking about most things, and as Andy says, they're actually quite common, possibly ridiculously common. I mean, if I want validation of research, look behind me. Look at, I have no idea. There's another 2 walls of books. They go to 9 feet.
Yeah.
Of data. From sightings, from encounters. You know, what happened? I remember when I was 9 or 10, I think. I can't remember most of my childhood. It's just the way my brain is. And I remember I'd fallen in love with another girl at primary school, or a girl at primary school, and I had this big book by somebody, Hans Holzer, I think, had written it, the Compendium of Magic. It was black with a pentagram on the front, and I burned some blue candles, hoping that she would be my love. The funny thing was, early that morning, I had gone to bed, big remote country house, middle of nowhere, old weatherboard dump really, but we called it a big remote country house in Australia out in the bush. And I had to go outside. I had to open the French doors to the backyard. And the sky was blazing red, like the frontispieces of those ancient books are all swirling red and purple. And that freaked me out to a degree, but not to the degree that I came face to face, I believe, with a creature that was the same height as me, but I can't remember details of. And I wasn't sure whether it was a demon or a UFO naut. And it gets confusing if you read Desmond Leslie's work from the early 60s. He first brought up the concept that demons and UFO people were the same. That one was a translation of old mythology, but in the new guise. And that's one thing that's fascinated me about ufology. As it progressed through the years, and I've got data on UFO sightings back to the 1600s. I think one of the oldest ones is this person is in, I can't remember which county of England, and his horse rears and everything covered by these lanes, you could barely get past. And he said a flying wheel came down the road, and it was being driven by a big hairy bear with glazing eyes. Okay, that has to be the oldest Bigfoot in a UFO sighting I've ever come across. Are we, when we're having our sightings, our adventures, our encounters, translating everything into forms we understand to make them logical, to make them possible for us to cope with? So religious people see the Virgin Mary, and hunters see Bigfoot, and other people see the Nordics or the Galactics, Wolfon from Venus, who has so many mentions in ufology. He might have his own book soon. Tall, blonde, blue-eyed, 6.5 foot tall. The planet Ummo, UMMO. I think it's been mentioned 10 different times on every continent on Earth, bar Antarctica and possibly Australia. And how UFOs are always one step ahead in technology, or the perceived technology of the time. It got very confusing in 1897 in the great, actually 1896 to 1897 airship flap, because they worked out that none of the things they saw could fly. You can't have airships with a propeller on the front and a propeller on the rear. It'd be like a push me, pull you. Which way would it go? It was like the observers were bringing forward what they believed the future would be. So by the 40s, we got ghost rockets all over the place. And now we've got triangles. I mean, which is which? That's just me putting my things forward. But basically, all this data couldn't have been just produced because somebody felt like it one day.
No.
And the sightings I use always leave physical trace evidence or independently witnessed. So it reduces it only to several 100,000. Like if you see the big red books near the top there, in the middle.
Can't see nothing.
Yeah, no, you can't. You need some no-dos.
Is that your
That's-
impersonation of Gerolandi?
Yeah, that's 7,000
Zombie
pages.
eyes.
That's
Come on.
7,000 pages and 22 volumes I published last year. A History of Strange Phenomena from 1600s and 1999. Now I've got to do another set because I found more. So, yes, I believe and I don't believe.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to deny or condemn because I can't. There's too much data. There are too many people having physical evidence. There's too much evidence of one of the most common themes I know of in ufology, for instance, photoactinic burns to people.
Yeah.
Clear conjunctivitis to people. We have a heat source, a light heat source that does do damage. It doesn't just appear because it felt like it one day. You know, maybe one or two crashed into a random orb, but not when it's the same description of the event at the same time. Anyway, that's my 2 bobs worth.
Yeah. Chris, you're the UFO guy in this. I don't know.
I'm ever so sorry. I was in the middle of a conversation with Lala on Messenger on Facebook. She's asking if she can come back in again. I'll just saying. I just responding to her, so I didn't quite get that. If it was a question for me, my apologies for that, George. If that was aimed directly at me.
No,
No.
just in general, but just for you being the ufology guy, that was all.
Well,
I've got to go, guys.
Just
Just
quick,
my son's
before you
get
had-
up for work in a minute.
Yeah, if Lila wants to come back
I've
in,
got
she
to go.
can come back in.
can I tell her yes?
Yeah, of course.
Bye,
Yeah,
Jojo.
she's listening. Come back in. You got the link.
See you,
Same
Jojo.
link.
Bye,
See you a
Jojo.
bit, Joe.
Bye, Jojo.
I'm just
No, that's
typing
not
back to the
Lala.
guy.
No. Who was that?
That's not mine. Mine sounds like the demons from hell.
Well, I'm downstairs on my own. I
I
hope.
have dogs, so
Should have been.
I don't know.
It'll sound like a cat to me, but
Oh, it's this
Maybe
one.
it's James.
It's right here.
it might be
Ah.
that. Yeah.
Yep.
That's a
around.
big cat.
Oh yeah, he's big.
Is that a
He's
Maine
a big
Coon?
boy.
I think
Get around.
if I got you right, George, I think what you were saying was, there is tons and tons and tons of evidence which goes back millennia for various sightings and, proof, as it were, in one form or another, that we are being visited and we have been visited for a long, long time. That I agree 100% with you there. And whether or not we'll ever get an answer from those in control of the situation, allegedly in control, re things like disclosure, I don't think we ever will. NASA can go back, at least as we discussed earlier on, to 1947 to investigate sightings in the recent, programs that they sent out on YouTube. They're saying they don't have the information to investigate. Well, it's all bull. They have got the information. They've had it for decades, if not longer, if not 100 years. We definitely know that there's evidence going back to at least 1947, which is 70 plus years. So, yeah, forgive me if I didn't get the right question from you there, but we've definitely got a lot of information that proves these things are going on.
I'll add something, if you don't mind. My first huge book, and Andy knows I've written a few, it was a small 1,700-page one. 1800 to 1977, started in 1972, well before all of you were born. And I started at 1800 because then they couldn't say it was a plane. No, sorry, no planes. It was a balloon. No, I'm terribly sorry. There might have been 5 over 50 years in North America. No, it's not a balloon. And there are already thousands of sightings of strange creatures and weird airships and gargoyles and you name it. Because everyone's in my books. I don't limit it to UFOs. You've got everybody in there.
Yeah. I mentioned in my first book, George, which is advertised behind me, forgive me, there's a sighting from Japan in the year 1215 of a priest who was allegedly going to be beheaded when a large silver moon-like object appeared in the sky. This was during daytime, and it was so unusual that the priest was actually spared his life because of this sighting. So, I mean, that, again, goes back to many, many years before the 1770s, and the Montgolfier brothers, kind of perfected hot air ballooning. Or at least got hot air balloons up in the air, So,
those things were still very rare in their day. They could not be a common excuse. That's the thing. And, I've got huge number of books on meteors, meteorites, comets, you name it. I've got a huge library on comets and meteors that belonged to William Corliss. I don't know if you know William Corliss, C-O-R-L-I-S-S, one of the probably the greatest researcher on strange phenomena and strange geology and strange cosmology. His work was beautiful. I managed to meet his son a year after he died, and he was my hero from the first time I bought one of his books when I was 14.
Yeah,
they did have books then. Gutenberg had just invented it, and his son allowed me to get that section of the library on cosmic phenomena when it was being broken up, and I'm so honoured to have it. It's a super specialised library from probably the best researcher in the world for this sort of subject, because I run those things alongside that data on meteorites and the rest of it alongside when these aerial luminous objects are apparently there, and quite often no, there's no meteors unless you're looking early November. That's a tricky period because that's a major meteor shower every year. But you still got 11 other months that, hang on.
Yeah.
What's this thing that's appearing here? Not necessarily coming down. The weird part is when they go back up. They're not meant to go back up. Nothing's meant to go back up. And that's why I started my research at 1800, just for that section, so that almost every excuse was gone.
I have a question. So when we're seeing these crafts going back up, are they doing it to trick us into thinking they're going off planet, and then they're going up, and then when there's no one around or in an isolated area, they then go back into where they actually came from?
Could be, might not be. If you've got a totally black background, there's nothing to refer to it. Something disappearing into a point could still look like it's going up.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Here's the wormhole, as I prefer to call them, and
is it 5 miles that we can see to the horizon? Like if you're looking straight out, we can see 5 miles. There is no straight out.
We're on a round planet.
Yeah. So as it's a curve, is it? It's either 3 or 5 mile. Might be 5 kilometers.
Might be. But I'm not sure.
I think it's 4.
But if we see it going out to that point, then it is going to look like it's going up-ish.
But it still has to go over the horizon.
Yeah.
And if that cat's going to push it over, it's stuffed.
Well, Jane's cat could do it. You've seen the size of it? It's massive.
Yeah.
That'd have you
because-
for lunch, George.
What's that?
But yeah, how do we know they're not going, tricking us, and then coming back and then going into the oceans or the cave systems or any other entrance?
There are lots of undersea areas where reports of UFOs coming up and down are. Look at Bass Strait between Tasmania, and you think Australia's remote. You try Tasmania. It's a strange little island at the bottom of Australia. They don't circumcise them there. They cut off the sixth finger. It's an odd place, Tasmania. And, the most famous report of a kidnapping or loss or disappearance was Frederick Valentich, early 70s, if I remember rightly. Problem with my research library on the computer, it takes 8 minutes to load. So I can't answer anything. It's really annoying. And I've got a 7 terabyte computer sitting in front of me. That's the size of the hard drive. But it still takes 8 minutes to open the damn thing.
Wow.
I've
There's
just
so much on it.
I've just Googled that for you, Andy. On a clear day, the furthest you can see on a straight line, exactly at the elevation as the point of the Earth you are specifically at sea level, is about 7.5 miles.
Right. I wasn't too far out. So yeah, even 7.5 mile is still 7.5 mile, isn't it? Don't know where I was going with that.
But if the Earth were flat, you would be continuous.
Yes.
7.5 miles is allowing for the curvature of the Earth.
Yeah, but so if it goes out, could it still look like it's going up?
No, but it would continue going up. There's up and down. We'll have to explain this to you one day.
No, I know. I know what I mean, but I can't explain it.
Neither can we, Andy.
No. Maybe I don't know what I mean and just... Yeah.
No, I know what you mean. It can still disappear over the horizon.
Yeah.
And land on Earth, or continue straight out.
Yeah, but I mean, it'll get to a specific area where it can come back into the Earth, whether it's through sea.
That's over
or
7.5 miles away.
caves,
It can do whatever it wants after 7.5 miles.
Yeah.
The only things we'll be seeing it are satellites.
So, question then: do you believe UFOs are not of Earth, or not human made? No, there's a bit of a difference, but
Are they
I'm certain
reverse
you've got
engineered prior UFOs? Are they UFOs belonging to hidden civilizations
Well-
on Earth or under the sea? Are they human UFOs that have gone out into space and time and come back? That's the theory being used these days.
But are they reversed engineered, or did we design them in the first place, and they're using that as a scapegoat as to not have to explain what's really going on?
A smoke screen.
Yeah.
Could be. I've got quite a few reports of reverse engineering.
Yeah.
But I'm sure that if anyone was reverse engineering, they would have put it on the market after chucking a patent on it to make as much money as they can out of it. It's human nature. Not going to let anything like that go. I want to corner the world air market. I look at a lot of things as a devout capitalist. You don't let a good opportunity to make money pass you by. They're good questions, Andy.
But then, has anyone... See,
Sorry, Andy. Go on.
No, I was just going to say, has anyone got the patent for UFO design?
Yes, I think there is a patent for a UFO design. Don't forget, can't remember the name of the company now, but there was a saucer allegedly designed in Canada, and I'm sure you know of it, George, and our American friends do. But I can't remember the name of the company, but there was a saucer which was designed, and it was in Canada, and it was in the 1950s. But they scrapped it because they found it impractical and they couldn't use it at that particular time.
It's a bit like the Bell. It couldn't fly.
Yeah.
That's the problem. You can have a patent, but you still got to build the technology, have a metallurgy, or whatever you're going to make the thing out of. It has to be strong enough to support at least one or two beings inside it. And it's got to be cost effective.
Yeah.
What are you looking at?
But then you've got the jetpacks, which fit over the arms. Obviously, it's got a backpack as well. But the ones that the sleeves, you control it all from, like, I suppose, steering mechanism inside the arm, inside the sleeve. Now, that's not going to be that heavy if they're able to lift it up and hold it and then jet about all over.
Yeah, well, jetpack technology has been around since the late 40s.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the Avro car that I was speaking of.
That's right.
Aircraft with the same basic shape as a frisbee. The upper surface on the disc being fairly curved and the bottom much less so. That was one device that was pushed forward.
There have been a few.
Yeah.
Well, the recent Peruvian attacks, they say they had jetpacks flying around.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Who believes they were mining with jetpacks?
Yeah. That's what they're saying.
Right.
The first jetpack I recall was Sean Connery taking off in Thunderball with a jetpack.
Yes.
Yeah, but a jetpack isn't a UFO.
It's true.
I mean, what is a UFO? It's an unidentified flying object, or
Which, if it's a jetpack, it's a
whatever they want to call it these days. I'll
But
stick
it's
to
only-
UFO.
The first person to see somebody with a jetpack might be unidentified.
Yeah.
You know,
Especially in a
somebody
third world
pointed out.
country.
Somebody
Yeah, but
pointed out. I was going to say, someone pointed out to me though, when we identify it as a UFO, doesn't it no longer become it's no longer unidentifiable? So what do we call it then?
An FO.
Identified.
IFO.
Yeah, but be careful with FO jokes. We're all going to get crude here.
That brings up my latest pet peeve with Arrow, which the only things it puts out are the things that's identified. It doesn't put out evidence of weird stuff. It's useless.
But that's why we've got to continue doing our research. That's why we've got to continue going forward with, in my case, publishing lots of books. I've got 120 plus books. It's probably more than that now anyway.
It's a lot, George, a lot.
Yeah.
He does like 200 a day.
I know.
Well, actually, you would have noticed I haven't published a book for about 5 months.
Oh,
But how many
Amazing
have you
for
got
me. I
waiting?
You're
normally
late.
do one a month.
It's a vacation.
One.
Yeah.
I've got one that is going
Don't-
to blow the ass off the political powers and religious powers and the power brokers on this planet, including the green deceivers, of what is actually happening here and what they're trying to cover. And it's as well researched as all my other books, which is incredibly well researched. As I said, I only use data.
See what George isn't telling us, he has 6 clones off camera writing right now.
I know.
I don't even use AI. It's only myself, 2 screens, and a computer that takes 8 minutes to open.
8 minutes.
It's
I used to
got
have
so
one
much
like that,
data
George,
on
but
it.
it was Windows 95.
Windows 95 was different. I'd turn it on upstairs, go downstairs, make the coffee, pour the coffee, get a snack, walk up the steps, drink the coffee while I'm waiting to load. This is because my main file on it is so goddamn big. This thing's a multiple terabyte computer.
Wow.
It's like a rocket. It cost thousands of dollars, and it's
Yeah,
still
I can
too
imagine.
slow to open this thing immediately.
This
Hello,
thing I got-
Nigel. How are you?
Hello, good morning.
Hello,
all.
Lala.
Whoa.
Wow.
Science Bob.
Hi.
Hey,
I
George.
know you
good-
from Facebook.
well,
Oh yeah, hi George. This is the first time we've ever heard each other's voice together, I think. But
Yes,
I know
it
who
is.
you are, of course.
Welcome,
dear.
welcome to the soaking wet and very windy northwest of England. Oh, heck.
And what else is
Same with
new?
the southeast.
Oh,
Yes, Andy, Tob,
it
if
has
you
been rather interesting the last
Yeah.
sort of 48 hours. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm beginning to think I was caught up in something. We think we had we were warned we might have tornado watch, which is a bit unusual in the UK. And then we had absolute torrential rain. I mean, it was about 80 millimeters of rain in some spots, and flooding, and you name it, we've had it. So I'm just expecting an invasion from Mars, and I just about have everything unexpected all at the same time.
Yes,
It's,
Andy was telling me he's looking forward to the warm rain of summer soon.
What's that?
The warm
I
rain
don't know what that
instead
is.
of a cold rain.
Actually,
Rain,
George,
it comes down from the sky. It's wet.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You don't try not to stand in
It's
it.
the one thing we get for one day a year in England. You blink and miss it, and then you're straight into autumn. No, it's not. Yeah, but we'll get one eventually, I suppose. We English get rather, I don't know, rather philosophical about it. If we get a summer, it's going to either be early or late. I was reading yesterday night, it was 28 degrees in southern Spain yesterday in January.
It's 40 degrees at my place.
Oh, well, yeah, well, that's fair enough.
Showing off.
I was
Showing
looking at
off in a
pictures of
place
your
that don't even exist.
of your home place, George, if you didn't mind this. I've been very nosy in doing my research.
It's in Sydney in Australia.
Yeah, do you come from Wagga Wagga? Is that right?
Wagga Wagga originally,
Well, Wagga
long
Wagga,
time
Wagga,
ago.
pardon my pronunciation. Yeah,
It means place of many falling
New
drunks.
South Wales. Yeah, just
Yes.
the east of Canberra, a few miles.
Yes,
Well,
but I haven't lived there for years.
Yeah, I tell you what, a very, very picturesque place. Rather, I was a bit surprised, to be honest with you. Very green, and I shouldn't say that, but I mean I'm generalising about Australia. But one expects when you say Australia, you expect sort of deserts and arid land, and up in the Northwest Territory, with the jungle a bit. But it's quite English looking, and
some parts are.
Yeah, it was very.
We lived in
pleasant place.
We lived in what's called the Southern Highlands a few years ago.
Yeah.
And it's very English, very green, English trees, English houses, pretentious
beautiful
people who
church.
are convicts
See,
who wanted to be
I'm into
English.
history as well, George, and I like architecture. And I was looking at the church here. It looks Victorian, but it's a very nice church for a replica English church. Beautiful, very nice.
In Wagga?
Sorry, I'm rattling on, but it's 5 o'clock in the morning in here.
You're allowed to. We've all been doing that.
How else is
Since
it
you brought up,
Hello, Derek.
How you
Well,
doing? All
since
right.
you brought up churches,
Well, thank
you
you.
Hi,
think
Derek.
there were healing
Every
places?
How we
now and then
doing?
we need to be quiet, let Andy talk so he doesn't go to sleep.
Yeah.
How are you doing, Dad? All right.
All right, thank you.
Oh,
I
it's really
can't-
good, my friend. I'm so
Can't believe
glad.
we got up this time in the morning, but yeah,
Yeah, I know,
that's what we
I
do,
know.
isn't it?
I thought
Yeah.
it was still
Not been to
night.
bed yet, Derek.
You haven't?
Oh,
Oh yeah,
The first-
Sue's here. My wife Sue's here. She says hi, Derek, as well. 'Cause we all met up at Manchester.
Hi there. All right.
Oh,
Derek, you think it's early? The first time Andy ever interviewed me, as I said, I'm in Australia, there was a phone call and my wife came in to the bedroom and said, there are people on the computer who want to interview you now. That was the first time we chatted. 2.5 hours later, we finished chatting.
Ah, well.
That was great.
Yeah, that was.
That's the things we do for this subject, isn't it? We believe in our subject. We believe in what we do. So
Yeah.
it means getting up at 7 o'clock in the morning. That's what we do, isn't it?
We
It's
have
what
to
we do.
promote our subject. I was
Well,
saying
it-
to somebody the other day that the reason I write and publish and research books is when the computers die and the internet carks it, to use a lovely old term, there'll still be books of mine in thrift shops somewhere.
Yeah.
And that means the knowledge I've saved in them from what I've researched will still be there for other people, because we can't let the knowledge all of us combined have get lost. We
That's
can't
true.
No.
people constantly say it's wrong, it's bad, we're not going to print that because we shouldn't be doing it, or there's some religious or political reason. We have to publish, we have to get it out there. I don't sell many books, I just write the damn things. I'm addicted to it and researching them.
I'm just wondering, actually, George, if I was to write down all the knowledge I've accumulated over the last 58 years and put it into a book, probably get a record for the world's smallest book, I assume. It'll be about the size of a postage stamp and an inch thick.
I doubt that, Nigel.
Pages saying, I know nothing, therefore I'm a ufologist. We all assume that we know the answers, but in fact...
Everything you know is unidentified.
Yes, because once it's identified, it's an FO.
Yeah. There you go, Chris.
I published my
Slated.
one in 58 years, so that's not bad. I'm breaking my own record now. You remind me, George, of my other good friend, Nick Redfern, because Nick's an avid sort of writer and publisher. He publishes Lord knows, I think he's up to his 30 or 40 books now. I mean, he lived in America, moved over to America, and he sort of publishes about 2 or 3 books a year. And
he's a slow writer, is he? Oh.
I look at it now. I'm getting on a bit. And I look at a computer. I used to do magazine articles a lot, and magazine articles, you had a deadline, and that was it. You got out, and being freelancer, you had to get it on time. But I look at a book. Now I'm getting older. I look at it. I say, "Oh, book 40,000, 50,000 words. One day I'm going to do it." Now, for the last year, I've been promising I'm going to do autobiography. No. You'd think if one thing I could talk about would be my own self, but can I heck? I keep looking at the blank keyboard and the blank screen, and I keep thinking, I've got to do this book. And you get about 2 pages into the introduction or the beginning of chapter 1, and somebody comes along, the dog runs away, or a kettle blows up, or some other domestic crisis, and before you know it, you're back to gone again. Somebody's turned the computer off, and half your stuff you forgot to save. So it's that's just the life of the writer. I like it. I still love creating, but it's when it's getting there. That's the painful bit. It's nice to see it finished. But yeah, I know what you mean. Though I envy people like yourself who can sort of have the determination to get on and get it done and push it out there. I remember
George can write a book while out shopping.
Sometimes
before he gets back home and puts all his groceries away.
While I was writing that set of red books up on the top shelf, second top shelf in the back, last year I wrote 4 or 5 other books in between because I got bored with writing the big ones.
I co-wrote that one with John Downs of the CFZ. John was my boss when I was working for the Centre for Protein and Zoology, and we had a UFO wave, and John and I decided to set it down on ink. Well, it's paper. It's John's idea, really, and he sort of said to me, "Go forth and do the research, young man," because he calls me a truffle hound. I love spending time in libraries, and so I spent a year in the library hibernating and searching out old newspaper records. I mean, we sort of combined all sorts of crazy ideas about let's read a book. I mean, it sort of wandered. It wandered off the original subject, and we had all sorts of UFOs combined with ghosts, combined with historical locations, combined with areas of high strangeness. You name it, it was all coming together, which is why I now, after all these years of being an avid ufologist, I'm starting off in extraterrestrial mode and working my way down into black technologies and all the other bits and pieces, and going through these different phases. I now come to the conclusion that all paranormal, 98% of paranormal and supernatural events are linked. and they are linked by one common denominator, and that is that they're interdimensional. I sincerely believe that they're either natural or made by another intelligence. I don't know, by our intelligence, but in a different dimension. I honestly do believe, and the reason I say that is because I can explain quite logically all the paranormal and supernatural events if I use a dimensional solution to the problem. If I've got a craft that's going interdimensionally from one dimension to another, it will suddenly appear, reappear. It will appear to be doing crazy angles because the laws of physics in our dimension don't apply to it. So you can say the same about ghosts. When we die, we don't die; we just pass into another dimension. And so, when we're seeing with ghosts, it's a dimensional portal, and therefore 3 people, say there's 5 in the room, 3 people can see it, the other 2 have no experience of it whatsoever. It's because maybe some people's minds are more tuned to this sort of dimensional warping than others. It's just still, I'm getting it together in my head. Maybe I'm going crazy in my old age. Probably am, but that's the way I'm looking at it now. That dimension is the key. Interdimensional travel is the key. It's a key to a lot of this. It's not a myth. It's not paranormal in the sense that it's something mystic or it's a natural event that we've yet to explain. And I think there is a natural solution to these things. I think they're part of nature. It's just nature we don't understand yet. And when we get to that stage where we do understand it, well, in a way, a lot of us will go away then because there's no mystery to solve anymore. But it's just part of learning experience. It's part of the human learning experience. I'm sure of it. There you are. That's my company bit. I've got off my soapbox now. Let the rest of people speak. Sorry, mate.
That's fine. It's fine.
Right, guys.
Welcome, Derek.
Yeah, hi, Derek and
How you doing? All right.
both, guys.
And
I'm going
Nigel
to disappear, Andy, for a
Bob.
couple of hours. All right, I'll be back at 8 o'clock, mate.
Yeah, that's cool.
Take
All
care,
right, guys.
Chris.
Nice to meet you all.
Before you go,
Lovely to meet you.
Look after
Chris,
yourselves.
before you go,
And
you've got the
may
link.
the cosmic
You've got-
gods bless you all.
You've got the second link, haven't you?
Bye-bye, guys. Nice to see you all.
Live
Bye-bye.
long and
Chris.
prosper,
Bye.
Chris. Right.
Chris, you've got the second link.
Yes.
Cool.
I'm ahead of you, mate. Go back to sleep. You're okay.
Right, see you in a bit. Oh. So, Derek, what's your take on what Nigel was just saying?
I agree with Nigel, actually. I mean, bear in mind, I not just UFOs, I do spiritualism as well. I sit in circle every week, and I see involved with healing. I'm a Reiki healer as well. All these things that shouldn't exist do exist. And like Nigel says, the only thing I can say is I do believe it's dimensional. For example, if there's a UFO incident, the military get there very quick, too quick.
Yeah.
It's like they're all geared up waiting for something to happen, and they're in the next village. Everyone seems to think, or they all say, oh yeah, it must be from a base up the road. Rubbish. No chance. They get there too quick. Miles too quick.
Derek. It's nice you've got some mutual agreement in the field of ufology. My God, there's a first. Ufologist. That's a rare event.
we are the same age, Nigel. As it happens.
Well, yeah. I think. Do you know? I was thinking the other day when I knew I was coming on here, and I thought I need to talk about how I got started, and I was writing a book as well. I'm thinking about. Do you know I was 8 years old? So we were looking 1965 when I had my first encounter and alleged abduction. 1965. So that's going back a little bit. I started thinking about UFOs and collecting UFO books when I was 8 years old. But in those days, of course, you get much in the way of English books. They were all American, mushy paperbacks, with the strange yellow borders. They should have had a real awful sort of smell about them. I don't know much. It must be about the paper they use or something. And there were all these strange places in America that I'd never heard of. I got an American map put up on a wall and started pinning all these locations out and trying to figure out even then if there was a pattern or to the sightings, and it was just took off from there. Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? How long ago 50 years seems to be now. It's
That's a long time, Nigel.
It seems, but it's flown by. I've loved every minute of it. I've loved every minute of my involvement in ufology and in paranormal generally. I love ghosts. I've done ghost hunting. Cryptozoology is another favorite hobby of mine. Fell into cryptozoology by accident, and I was totally enthralled with the idea of not strange animals per se, but animals appearing in the wrong place, out of location.
Yeah, out of place.
And I've been crocodile hunting in the Midlands. Yeah, crocodiles in the Midlands, just outside Birmingham, and a big gravel quarry, flooded quarry.
Wow.
And some mustard beads around it, and there were reports of a crocodile there, and of course the kids used it as a swimming pool. So the panic set in. ITV's Good Morning program set up their camp there, and they were there talking to the locals about what are you going to do when this crocodile appears, and idiots were going out on small boats and trying to tempt this thing out from the reeds if it was there. So I went with John and a guy called Richard Freeman, who's a trained zoologist, but he used to be a big animal keeper in a zoo, Dudley, and used to be the chief reptile keeper. So, his idea of fun scrubbing the back of 20-foot crocs. And we went out, and the idea was, crazy as it sounds, we were going to capture, if possible, this croc. He was going to bind up with gaffer tape, and apparently they open up the eyelids and you keep a light shining it. I don't understand because I'm not a zoologist. And it would sort of keeps them still in some sort of trance. Jump him into the back of my 7-seater, and Dudley said we're going to take it. So I'm going to drive a 7-seater with a bound up grappling croc in the back.
Seatbelt on.
Yeah, well, more than that, I'm probably going to drive through the window while perching outside. So it didn't work. We found a nest. We tracked it a couple of times on sonar. A brave guy called. Oh crikey! I can't remember his name. He jumped into an 8-foot inflatable raft, and we pulled him across a rope, across this lake, while he had dangling a sonar, a little sonar off the side, looking for the signature, and he got a few pings on it, and that's as far as we ever got to find out. So that was the famous croc hunt, and then I went chasing snakes up on Cannock Chase, which was interesting, with African corn snakes. And it turned out to be a reputable or unreputable dealer, exotic pet dealer. And rather than get caught, he just released all his animals into the wild. Nice chap. So that's why we were having crocodiles escaping and snakes and all sorts of things, terrapins, you name it. We were getting really quite strange sort of requests. I've just seen an otter going past a drain while I was driving along, and there's this otter swimming along a drain. Okay, that's not too much. And then there's terrapins. I saw a couple of terrapins swimming up the canal. That's unusual. Yeah, okay. And then I saw a grass snake, a yellow corn snake, American corn snake. Now that is unusual. In the middle of Cannock Chase, that was highly unusual. That's cryptozoology. I love it. I just love it. They are avid amateur. That's got suicidal tendencies about driving crocs around. And that's me. That's me.
Can I just say I'm never going to Birmingham again? If people are trying to get them in an SUV and take it on a day trip with some terrapin.
The craziest things you agreed to in this job. That's what I like about it. How about you, George? You've been in a fair time too. I mean, yourself. It doesn't seem like it's a job, although I've done it for a job now for nearly 30 years, but it doesn't seem like it. To me, it's just, I hate the words expert, hate the word expert. I hate the idea. And what's the other one? Lecture. Yeah, you're going to give a lecture. No, I'm going to give a talk.
Yeah.
You're going to inform. Well, hopefully, a bit of information, but I'm there to entertain. If people can come out and say, "I enjoyed that. That's a bit of fun," that to me is success. I don't go there to preach to people on high from a soapbox about what is and isn't right. You know, I don't go with any set idea saying this is what UFOs are. If I knew what UFOs are, well, one, the mystery would be over, and two, I'd be extremely wealthy, living in a nice big house in Beverly Hills. You know, I don't know what they are any more than anyone else does. We all take
But we keep
educated
looking.
guesses. Yeah, we do. We do.
We keep looking. Actually, I want to cut in now. Because I normally like hogging the conversation. And as Andy does, we're all discussing the interdimension. That is a common theme with ufology, some aspects of cryptozoology, lots of ologies, lots of funologies, as I said, books full of them behind me. And it's amazing after you've done, and I'm no expert either. I've been called one of the greatest collators on earth on some podcasts recently, which I don't mind because most of the time they just don't want to talk to me. And it's a funny thing. I started researching this stuff when I was in my teens. And what I used to do was pre-computer. I used to write down, as I went through books by Wilkins, Surratt, you name it. They're all on these shelves here. My memory is not as good as it used to be. It's not great at retrieval anymore. My wife says I've got too much jammed into it. And what I would do is I would write the geographical place and the phenomenon from A to Z in these old printer's trays until I had stacks of paper all over the place, and I'd put them together and I'd find this also happened at the same place and this happened at the same place, maybe not at the same time. And why have I got this great mass for this area and nothing else, but then find this area's suddenly got a great mass of sightings? You know, it's not just because the Surrey puma's hungry and it's headed west or north or got rid of its stripes and gone black. What is it about phenomena I was discovering that they often happened at the same time in the same place but with different phenomena? And I thought, I don't know if there's a pattern to this or not. And I thought, it's ridiculous. Here's this hill sitting here, and they're seeing the Virgin Mary in a tree here. Why they like trees, I've got no idea, but they like trees in caves. They're the usual marionite ones in blue. Other side of the hill, we've got a mob of vegans or whatever, and they're seeing a Nordic or Orthon from Venus, who I've mentioned before, suddenly appear. 6 foot tall, long blonde hair, and I've met Orthon a few times with that name in quite a few different reports, and I'm sure they weren't talking to each other. And on the other side of the hill, in the same area, you got hunters seeing Bigfoot or a strange creature. And, you know, by this stage, like I was discussing a book earlier I wrote, my first one I ever published, or 1,700 pages of it, which was strange and weird phenomena from 1800 to 1977. It started in 1972. I finished it in 2012. And I found there's a pattern to it all. I thought, hang on, there shouldn't be a pattern to this. It should all be random. There should be nothing to it. It's all hallucinations, imaginations, or just people bullshitting, to use an old Australian term. Except there were patterns. Whoops, I can never stand this damn thing in a right.
Oh,
there it is.
Stop.
Yeah. Right there.
Where my fingers are is North America. The blank bit's the Atlantic. The right hand, well, the other bit, the skinny bit, is Western Europe, the British Isles, and that is 1800 to 1977, and the beautiful thing was, it's covered in sine waves. Sine waves are mathematically repetitive. That's why they're sine waves. And I thought, this is a weird sort of thing. Why are we seeing apparent repetitive patterns to so-called anomalous phenomena, irrespective, UFO, Bigfoot, whatever? And so I was put in touch, and this is 1991. I was put in touch with a physicist, and with the computers of the day, which were equivalent to a Commodore 64, he analysed my data from 177 years. And we deduced and worked out that there were periods of occurrences of sine waves starting at 515 years and going down that roughly matched the orbits of the major planets. Well, that's a weird sort of thing to get out of totally non-existent phenomena, if you want to reduce it to its
George
basic.
Mitrovic, astrologist.
No. There's nothing. You can't tell fortunes with it, Gerald.
that tallies perfectly well in George with my experience, my first experience of the area high strangeness. I love that saying. It was then on East Devon. That's what the book was about. It started out with this UFO wave when I researched, like yourself, going back into history. We'd had a major UFO wave there and strange occurrences as well with crypto and mutilated whales, but that's a different story. And going right back to ghosts and whether it all increased, strange animals. Every 10 years, on the dot, every 10 years. This happened in 97, 87, 77, right the way back to 1907 was the first UFO sighting off Exmouth that I found a trace of, and that was in the just post the mystery airships over the UK, which was the early 1900s. This was
1909.
Yeah, it was roughly tied into that, but that was a daytime sighting of a cigar-shaped craft off the coast there in Exmouth. We've had mermaids there every 10 years. Mermaid was caught in the 1800s and another caught in the 1700s. We've had men flying off the beach in the early 1900s, flapping their arms, and in front of several hundred witnesses, seemed to fly across the estuary onto the beach on about a quarter of a mile, half a mile across, in broad daylight, which is really wacky. I mean, there's some real wacky stuff, but it was every 10 years. And like you say, it's all tied into this. When you say different times of sine waves, you said different time periods. I wonder if you've got one for 10 years, every 10 years, because you have that probably tie-in.
They go right down, but what happened was with the computers of the day, we're talking 1990s.
Yeah.
We couldn't go down to small periods. Our smallest was 85 years.
Oh, right.
Because the rest became static. But
Because
actually,
Men in Black,
byproduct
Men in
of
Black,
that-
when I found from 1907, Men in Black with a sighting in Britain, of northern Britain, in 1907. I mean, that's crazy. Everyone thinks Men in Black started in the 1940s. It did not. It did not. I've got a front page report of this thing, a press report with 2 or 3 reliable witnesses, and the Men in Black approaching rapidly in a black automobile. Now, that's rare in itself in those days. Asking if there's a flying flying objects seen over the river, estuary river, and northeast, which was then occurring. Then they asked, they were directed to the Coast Watch Department or something, or the Coast Guards, and then they jumped back into their car and quote unquote drove rapidly away. Unquote. Well, I mean, we don't know what rapid counts in 1907, about 10 miles an hour.
2 miles an hour.
Yeah, I mean, it is a classic MIB report. There's no way.
Were they described as Asiatic?
Yeah.
George,
That's
let me
one
ask
of the weirdnesses.
George, let me ask you a question. Did your physicist do Fourier analysis on your time series?
No, he didn't do it. He did a reversed exponential projection over the entire period to flatten out the curve.
Okay, I got that. Okay, so look, if you take your shorter period sinusoids, let's say you have 3 or 4 of them of different frequencies, and you add them up and plot them out, it's going to look like noise. So,
Yes.
but a Fourier analysis will show you clearly the 4 different sinusoids.
Well, our sinuses, sorry, not sinuses, mind you, they are stuffed. Our sine waves, they get up my sinuses. The top ones are pretty clear with the periodicity and the major planets being relatively the same.
Yep.
Remembering that major planets are merely large magnetos generating electromagnetic waves. So they're all influencing things as they go. But an interesting side discovery, which I didn't publish until 2012, and this is 1891, 1892, there was one curve we call the Persephone curve. It's 515 astronomical units from the Earth. An astronomical unit, for those who don't know, is the distance of the Earth to the Sun. 3 months ago, Japanese astronomers deduced that at the edge of the Oort cloud, they found a planet at 515 astronomical units. The thing is, how did my data of anomalous phenomena is able to verify the existence of a planet? Are a lot of our phenomena fueled by the actual planetary radiation as the planets move into different locations? It's not actually astrology, it's astronomy.
Yep. I
We're
was joking about astrology.
Yeah, no, it's all right. I wish I could do it. Mind you, I don't know why not. I'm a Gemini with Aquarius ascendant, the Virgo moon, but I think that just makes me particularly fussy.
So the orbits of planets, of course, they're ellipses, but the tick mark time clock is a circle, and so your sinusoid is like it's the motion around a circle is the sinusoid, and how many circles per minute or year or whatever is this frequency you're talking about. This is interesting, George.
That was the largest one. The 515-year one.
Wow.
Then it went down to smaller ones. This was, oh God, I hate these reverse things. I must do a screen show one day, except I've got no idea how to do it.
Yeah, that has about double the frequency of the other one.
Yeah, and that one has, and then we go down to, I think this is the Saturn frequency. No. Yeah, Saturn.
Yep, that's about 6 times the frequency of the first.
Here's Neptune.
Hey, Andy. Me and Jane's going to take off, and thank you for having us.
Yeah.
So, to me, the main discovery was them.
Yeah,
because they're not supposed to exist.
Sorry, John. I'll give you a shout in a bit, Carol.
Yeah.
Great to see you, Gerald.
Hey, Gerald.
Okay, mate.
Yeah.
See you, Jane. Go feed those chooks. Actually, it is chook feeding time now.
Live long and prosper.
Nice meeting y'all.
Live long and prosper.
Oops, let me get it on there.
Trekkies of the world unite. Yeah, you know.
All right, love you all. See you
Take
later.
care, guys.
Bye.
See you soon.
Bye,
Thank you,
Gerald.
Andy.
Bye,
See you in a bit.
Jane.
Cheers, Jane. Cheers, Jake.
George, while you're on about areas of high strangeness and sine waves and what have you, query, why is it that every area of high strangeness always contains rock, either rock bed or rock gravel, with a high content of quartz? And that quartz has usually running water or still water running subsurface, and also we'll call them earth energy lines. I'd hate the word ley, but I'll say it for now, ley lines running across it, and it causes severe magnetic disruption to radio broadcasts, to radio control frequencies. It always seems to synchronate with quartz and running water in these areas, and I think they're connected. What about you? Do you think that's possible?
Yeah, quartz produces piezoelectricity.
Yes.
Or piezo, if you want to look at it the other way. You start running water across it, you're starting to generate an electric current.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And if you squeeze it, it'll
You
produce
squeeze
a
it.
voltage. It'll produce a voltage. And if you put it in the right kind of circuit, it'll make a sinusoid. That's how crystal radios used to work. Is this piezoelectric effect, and it made a sinusoid.
So imagine with my data and my theory of planets being gigantic versions of sinusoid creators, because you've got a molten metal core and an outer shell creating an electromagnetic field.
A dynamo.
You've got dynamos all over the place. So it's a minor dynamo. It's like the thing that my generation used to have, and I'm actually older than you, Nigel. But we used to put on the back wheel of our bicycles so we could power the headlight.
Yeah.
I mean, even I remember them.
One of my favorite things to do. One of my favorite things to do.
We used to have little chrome ones that went onto the front wheel with a little wheel and there's a little dynamo there. And
you just flick it over
the edge of the tire, and you used to run along when the tire went. You had your electric lights, which was great till you stopped in the car with the back of you because it had no rear light on.
Don't know why I'm laughing at that.
Yeah, memories. But yeah, it's. I just thought, just see. You see how George, different types of research in this business, how they seem to blend together.
Everything is made of energy, Nigel.
The
whole multiverse is energy.
Yeah.
Well, E equals MC squared tells you that.
Yeah, I agree. I think we're getting there, George. I think it's a question of just tying the different clues together to make one unified theory. Oh God, no! I better not say unified theory.
I've already worked that out.
Got delusion of grandeur. Yeah. No, I honestly do believe though. You're right. It's all connected. It's just
everything is connected.
Yeah.
But none of them exist without the observer.
Yeah.
Correct.
There is no phenomena with no observer.
There's no particle without an observer.
Yes. Why is there life after death? Because there is no such thing as a final death. It's just going in from one dimension to another.
Yeah. An interesting thing, Nigel and others. I'm sorry we're hogging the show, Derek and Michael.
Yeah.
And
30 seconds.
And Lala. And that is, if you believe in quantum physics, atoms produce a circular field. If you believe in standard physics, they form a straight line. If you're looking at the electromagnetic structure, it's the observer that creates the phenomena in a lot of cases. And why? I worked out over the years that the fifth state of matter, and Science Bob might like this, and I'd love to chat with him some other day on Facebook or somewhere about this. We
will, George.
Send me a friend request and I'll fill it in later. I can't do this and that at the same time. And
too busy writing books.
Yeah. And I'm going to give a simple, my understanding. I'm not a bright person, so I've got to be very simple in how I do things. There are 5 states of matter. And everyone says there are 3 states of matter, you silly old fart. They're solid. Atoms aren't doing anything. They're just sitting there, basically. And then they get a bit agitated. So we got liquids. They get very agitated, and then they become gas. And you're saying, well, that's the 3 of them. What are you talking about? You've got 2 more. And then there's a phrase that I used to call it a quasar vacuum, where it comes out. No, the phase is plasma. It's a part before what was, I used to believe, was the quasar vacuum. The plasma is where the electromagnetic bonds of the electrons and subatomic structures are dispersed. They are vibrating so fast they are retreating from themselves. And a lot of time, for years, some people, probably 10 people, because not many people knew about the quasar vacuum. I'd be right there, wouldn't I, Bob?
Yep.
I thought it was the quasar vacuum that was the 5th state of matter, and then I realised over the years, couldn't be, because it generates so much heat. It might go through a dimension that would destroy everything, including the observer. Therefore, there would be no phenomenon being recorded. And then I threw in a wild card, and it was the 5th state of matter is harmonic resonance. Everything is harmonizing so well, it's recreating itself. And the one who's recreating it is the observer. The observer creates the phenomenon according to their own belief system, so they don't go stark raving mad.